Hey ladies, how is everybody? How is everyone doing? Today was the first day of school for us. So I was going to do this drawing yesterday, but it was ridiculous. It was like I had a crazy, my daughter had a crazy meltdown. So it was like one of those, I just couldn't do it. So I'm going to do it today. And I don't want you guys to. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Susan. I don't want you guys to think that I was flaking on yesterday. It was just the kid thing happened. And hey, Scotty. The kid thing happened and it was ridiculous. So, she's like in the fifth grade and and she's gone to the same school for a number of years, but it's just, I think the newness. Don't you remember when you were in school? Hi, Melanie. Hi, Brenda. So didn't you remember when you guys were in school and you were just like so stressed out over the anticipation of starting your first day of school? Well, she was really going through that. So yesterday it was, anyway, I put it this way. I thought I would be like, oh, no big deal. I'll have some time, but I didn't have a chance. So tell me what's on your crafty table, ladies. Let's wait a few minutes for all the people to show up, just a couple minutes, and then I'll do the drawing. I have everybody's names here in my little Stampin' Up! Container, and I cut them all up. I printed them out, cut them all up. We had quite a few people participate that didn't post their pictures, and I gave everybody a couple of days to do it because I didn't want to leave anybody out. So I've been doing painty papers. What have you guys been doing? What have you guys all been up to? So the prize is going to be, it's going to be a junk journal kit. Hi, Bet. It's going to be a junk journal kit, the prize. So I just thought, it's going to be like one of my versions of a junk journal kit, not like a version of, not a DigiKit junk journal kit. So I wanted to show you guys my painty papers, what I've done to them since the ones we did on the live stream the other day. I have a couple more of them, but I don't know where they went. So this was one that was a little bit busy. Hi, Lisa. Hey, Deb. You're in the process of making cards, Debbie, for your grandson. That's awesome. Hi, Sarita. So this morning was ridiculous. Okay, let me turn the lights on because it's like overcast today. It rained this morning, which is not bad, but because we need the water. But it's like dark in here, and it's only 9:45 in the morning. Your grandson loves to receive mail. I think everyone loves to receive mail, Debbie. I don't think it's just your grandson. So I went back and I painted. I don't know. This one's like a little too shimmery. I may do some more stuff on it. But this was sort of loud. And then I used that really cheap. Was it you? So one of you girls told me to get some cheap opalescent paint from a big box store. Hi, Patricia. Hi, yeah, welcome. So I did that on this one. This one was kind of loud. So now it needs to have some remarkings or I can collage on it. And then this was one that I think Susan said it looked like there was like some blood on it or something. I don't know. Anyway, I went back and I did some circles and some more stuff on it. But I wanted to show you with the difference. Like I painted part of it with a gloss medium, like a Liquitex gloss medium because I had it. So you can just see the difference between, somebody asked me like why I like to use matte paint as opposed to using glossy paint. And so I wanted you guys to see the difference. Like this one's totally done with all matte, that really cheap matte paint, right? And then this one just is done with the same cheap matte paint, obviously, but it has a Liquitex gloss over it. So if you do it, so these are all going to be cut up into components. This is that one that had like some red streaks on it. I don't know. One of you guys said to me, remember it had the purple dots. So don't just stop with a couple of layers, do a bunch of stuff. Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to cut it up and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But I just wanted you to guys see. Hi, Susan. How are you? So I've been doing lots of painty papers. Anyway. Well, we have 20 of you guys. So, hey, Michelle. Hello, ladies. You guys go over and check out Michelle's YouTube channel, Michelle Scott. And in her YouTube channel, hi, Lynn. in her YouTube channel has a link to her Facebook group. And you guys go join it, especially those of you that are into lace and shabby chic. You'll really enjoy it. And she also has a selling group as well. You know, in my group, we don't sell anything, but if you guys go over to her group, go to her YouTube channel, Michelle Scott, and, oh, here I cut a piece of the paper off so you guys would remember what it looked like. Go over and, so this was that paper. Now do you guys remember it? Do you see it with the red streaks in it or whatever? Can you guys see it looks like blood or whatever? What did you tell me it looked like, Susan? A werewolf did it or something? So now you can see it. See? I don't know if you remember the paper when we were doing the live stream. You guys, my side hurt for like 2 days after that live stream. I'm sorry. That laugh, I haven't laughed so hard and since I don't know when. But anyway, go over to Michelle's channel, especially if you guys are interested in listing some things for sale or buying some things. It's always good to support your fellow crafters. And go over to her YouTube channel, Michelle Scott, and in the links below of her videos, it'll have the link to her Facebook group. You can join that. How could you forget? I know. Hi, Phaedra. And then you guys can go over and join her selling group and, you know, check out the things. It's really nice, especially before you run out to a craft store. Check out and see what else somebody else has for sale. So I'll show you some of the other painting papers I'm working on, but let's do our drawing. I think that there is a lot. Oh my God, what's in my pocket? You guys, I have laughed. I didn't watch it back until like a couple of days later, and I was watching it back. I had it on. I wasn't actually watching. I just had the sound on, and Hottie was home. He was like, "Who are you laughing with?" And I was like, it was on my live stream. He was like, "Oh my God." And I tried to explain it to him how it was. See, the thing is that unless I guess, I mean, it's funny anyway, I guess if you listen to it, because I sound like I'm a raving lunatic madwoman. But if you have been on the chat, every single thing you guys wrote, hi, Shelly 20,004, every single thing that you guys wrote just made me laugh even harder. And it was like comedy of errors, because I think there's like a delay in the, I don't know how it works. I don't know whether you guys are chatting it and then I see it delayed. So I've already said something and then the delay comes up, and it was just, oh my God. You guys, I needed that laugh. I didn't even know how bad I needed that laugh. So today was the first day of school. Can I tell you guys? Oh my God. I have been up. I went to bed. You know me, I'm a night owl. Thanks, Lisa. At least I didn't snort, because you know sometimes you get going and you snort when you laugh. I was laughing so hard I was choking. That was the ridiculous thing. So it was so funny. So today was the first day of school. So I went to bed late because you guys know I'm a night owl anyway. And I had to be up at 6 a.m. and make lunch and everything. And our lunch is not the normal lunch because my youngest daughter is like allergic to a lot of different things. And so, like, you know, I made her, I had to boil pasta. She wanted pasta. And I had made sauce over the weekend, so I got up this morning and boiled pasta. And then, you know, it was the whole nerves of the first day of school, but everything went well. But I've been up since 6 o'clock in the morning. And you guys, I'm not really a morning person. But I guess I am now, right? Because she has to be at school at 7:15, and we have to drive, so. I snorted, Brenda. Well, I snorted. There you go. Well, at least I didn't snort like hyenaously snorting. Oh my gosh. So let's do the drawing. So for those of you that are new to my channel, if you want to join our Facebook group, it's called Crafting Mamas. And one of our YouTube family members, her grandmother was turning 100 years old. And you know me, I don't really function well with rules and that sort of stuff. And I was like, 100 years old, I'll send her a card. And then it just sort of snowballed, and you were so bad. Oh my God. Was the water pre-boiled for the pasta, Susan? No. And it wasn't in a plastic bottle either, because you know plastic bottles, what happens? I'm not even going to go there. So this drawing, you know, then everybody in our group a lot of people in our group committed to making Noni's grandmother a 100-year-old birthday, a card to celebrate her 100 years of living. And so I wanted to do like a little giveaway for all of those that participated. And I know some of you participated, but you didn't post your pictures. You had to have posted your pictures. So I printed everybody's name out. I gave you guys a day or so to like make sure that you were on the list. And so I'm going to make you a junk journal kit. That's the prize. And it's my version of a junk journal kit, you guys. It is not like a digi kit, beautiful kit. It's like going to have like one of these. I love these book covers, these Reader's Digest book covers. So it's going to have one of these Reader's Digest book covers, and it's going to have some of my painty papers and some really cool old book pages and new book pages, and maybe some really neat Hawaii magazine pages, and some envelopes that I've made, and maybe some coffee dyed paper. I don't know. I'm going to put it together, and it'll fit in whatever fits in a 9x15 priority mail envelope, or 9x12, whatever the size. I think it's 9x12, right? Priority mail envelope. I'm going to fill that. So this is for that winner. So thank you. First of all, thank you everyone for participating. Noni posted her grandmother is doing so much better, and she's really enjoying the cards. And I'm sure, she's 100 years old. It's amazing to be recognized or just to be sent beautiful cards. And you ladies went above and beyond. I think, and then I also have I'm in another group, and they sent cards too. I think we had maybe over 50 people participate in sending her a card, and it could have been made or store-bought. Have fun shopping, Michelle. So anyway, this is the drawing for that kit, and I will mail it out. It'll take me to the end of the week to mail it out because I have to make the kit, And who knows, the longer I wait to mail it out, the more cool painty papers and weird stuff you get in it. So whoever gets it, if you're not a junk journaler, don't throw all that stuff away, because I'm sending you stuff I made. Pass it on to somebody else, okay? So anyway, the winner is, drum roll please. Am I stamping up box? Okay, I'm not even looking. Put everybody's name in here. Okay. The winner is Jennifer Beth Bickerstaff. The winner is Jennifer Beth Bickerstaff. So Jennifer, make sure your name is in the rack list, and I will be sending you my junk journal kit. So make sure that your name is in the rack list on Crafting Mamas. Congratulations, Jennifer. So that is who the winner is. But thank you, all of you ladies, for participating. I know that you made her grandmother's day a brighter note. So let me show you some of the painting papers that I've been making over the weekend. I don't know if you guys are interested in that. I know, you guys are so you're rock stars. I really appreciate it. So, do you guys get these flyers in the mail, like the grocery store flyers, newspaper, throwaway newspaper? So these I painted on newspaper. Done with that silly cheap acrylic paint, and I was into the circle thing. And this one I covered with a matte medium or something afterwards, and I rolled it on, and of course it pulled up one of the pieces, but that's okay because I'll use all of it. Bye, Debbie. Oh, come back anytime. Oh, thanks, Lynn. I think I'm a little obsessed with painting papers right now, though. I think it's just the procrastination of having to clean up my space is what it is. Is that terrible? I mean, I'm trying to get organized. So you guys know, so these are the painting papers that I painted over the weekend. I did a whole bunch of these throwaway newspapers. So, you can paint on anything. The thing with the newspaper, though, you need to do it like don't glop on tons and tons of. You need to do, if you're going to do multiple coats, do thin coats. Okay? So these are the magazine pages that I did, and these I did on a jelly plate. My love with the jelly plate. And I have an addiction to like painting and texture and stuff like that. And then these are done with those spray inks, those spray things that I like, the spray pigments. So oh, Oh, that's so nice, Lisa. It's like, I think sometimes we get caught up or, in like thinking that we need more or better or different supplies, but, we really don't. You can make it with what you have. And I know it's not easy for everybody. You're cleaning your arty room. You'd rather be doing painting papers. Well, until they totally finish my wall, I really can't put anything back into my room. And it's just in boxes everywhere. And it's actually a really big mess. And I don't know what I was looking for this weekend, but I started like going through boxes and boxes and boxes. And it was like, it became like overwhelming. I had to finally just shut the boxes and put them back out in the garage. So I finally came to a resolution of how I'm going to be able to live in my space. I am going to make my whole, like my living dining. I was trying to cram all my stuff into a really tiny space and it just wasn't working out. So I'm going to move it. I'm going to move my stuff and I'm going to take over my whole living area. So I'll do a studio. I'll do a living room studio tour. I like the way paper fills too, Lisa, loaded with paint. So I'm going to paint for a little while. If any of you guys want to hang out with me and paint. You guys, it's so early for me. I mean, I know it's 10 a.m., but I've been up since like 6, actually since before 6, because I thought I wouldn't wake up. So I woke up at like 5 o'clock and I jumped out of bed thinking I was late, and I didn't. So I can paint a couple with you so you see it, and then I'm going to go ahead and embellish those pages. So what I do is I take that newspaper flyer, let me see, here it is like this. Okay, those, and I cut it up. I make it smaller because my table's small. You could paint them really big, but I find them easier to control smaller. And these all have a base coat on it. So after I paint these, paint one or two of these with you guys, I'm going to go back and paint my stack. So get some papers or just hang out and chat with me if you feel like it. So, hey Sherry. Hi Amberly. Hi Irene. You guys shout out. Hi Kat. Shout out in caps so I can see you. So I also use the paper bag as my drop cloth. Usually I like to use a magazine, but since I'm doing these painty paper drop cloths, I'm going to make a bunch of paper bag meander books. And so I just thought, well, I might as well get a jump start on the painting. So this is what I do. So like ridiculous, but I'm sure you guys do the same thing, but just so somebody always inevitably like writes me like, what are you doing and how do you do it? Hi Michelle, how are you? You guys tell everybody where you're from. Our kids go, it's almost like year-round school here, you guys. They only have like 8 weeks off in the summer, maybe even less than that. So I just use that super cheap craft paint, my 50-cent go-to paint. You can use anything, and I use a credit card, or in this case, a Starbucks card. And so now like when all your kids get cards for their birthdays, gift cards and whatever, don't throw them out. And this is how I make my painty paper underneath. I mean, I don't know how you guys do it. And it doesn't matter if it tears, you guys, and it doesn't matter if you get paint on the bottom underneath it, okay? So don't worry about when you're brushing your paint off onto your paint palette or your painty paper underneath, if it gets anything on it, because it doesn't matter. You guys, it always ends up working out. So how many of you guys are going to... Denina from Alberta. You're Dina from Alberta, Canada. Well, welcome, Dina from Alberta, Canada. Alberta's beautiful. So what I do is... that sounds terrible. So what I do is I just lay it flat somewhere to dry, the bottom layer. You don't want to stack it on top of each other because it will stick together. So Michigan in the house, Alberta in the house, New Zealand in the house, another Canadian person in the house. Where else? I know Houston's in the house. Portland must be in the house. Who else is in the house? You guys, you're not trying to cover up all the writing. Don't get all obsessed with it, because as you put more layers on your put more layers over it, it will cover up most of the writing. And you have to get over the fact that it's not going to be. This is not You're not making scrapbook paper, okay? So I know some people get caught up and think that their painty papers aren't as good as somebody else's painty papers. You know what? Everybody's painty papers will come out good, even if you can always find a use for them. Use them in your serendipity paper, use them in your meander books, use them in your greeting cards, use them in your die cutting or fussy cutting. You know, find a way to use them. I use them in my junk journals too. I like to make pockets and envelopes. So, British Columbia, awesome. Montana, awesome. Austin, I love Austin. Montana, I bet the weather is the most beautiful right now, right? You guys, I literally feel like I have been like I have a hangover, and I didn't drink anything. I think it's just from the lack of sleep or getting up so early, I guess, right? My sister actually made a joke and said, "Are you going to stay up all night?" Because she knows I'm like a night person. And I said, "No." But you know what? I have been known to do that. Okay, so that was my paint. That's how I paint the base on my painty papers. Okay, I'm sorry. This has got, I just don't want it to stick. But see, isn't it cool? Like you're making your own like cool painty papers. You know, start cutting up your paper bags if you have them and put them underneath. You can go for it and make some crazy meander books out of your painty papers too. This is my palette, my painty palette. So it is a little sticky, and the thing about newsprint is it is sort of fragile. So I'm just gonna stick that over it. Stick the wax paper down while I'm gonna do the next layers. So what's fun about this part, or what I like about this part, is you can do anything. Sometimes I like to do multiples at once, stack them all up or whatever, so that I can, if I'm gonna be stamping or whatever I'm gonna do, I can do it on all of it. You guys know I'm into this like white Stampin' Up! Ink pad. Thanks, Tina. So tell me about, it's Monday, you guys. I feel like I'm like, I don't know. That's the black one. That's the black one that doesn't have any ink in it. I feel like I partied like it was 1999. Obviously I didn't. Just went to bed, but still, it's like ridiculous. I'm gonna have to get my behind on a schedule. You were hoping I was going to be up tonight? I'm just tired. I think it was, yesterday kind of wore me out. You know, yesterday was it wasn't a bad day, but it was like I felt so bad for her. She was just going through like such an emotional, like stressing herself out over like what the possible. See, they don't tell you who your teachers are here. You have to get up in the morning and you go, and they have like a bulletin board, and then they have your name like on a room number, and you don't know like who your room number is, like who you're with. And I think it was the anxiety of not knowing if she was going to have any people that she knew in her class. And oh, and it is a full moon. You're right about that. Well, it ended up being all good for her because she ended up in a classroom with people that, like, two of her best friends are in her class, which is kind of unusual, but, you know. So that was it. You have your sassy pants on today? Oh, good for you, Susan. I'm not feeling very sassy. I'm feeling like a zombie, actually. and this is like my third cup of coffee, and I'm still feeling like a zombie. There you go. Did anybody catch Carla's live? Carla did an impromptu live stream. She texted me this morning, and she was like asking me, because she usually does Ustream, and we were talking last week that she was going to start going back to YouTube because of some sort of delay in the recordings from Ustream. So I happened to be up early, obviously, and I was on the computer early, and she asked me, you know, we were talking about it, and the next thing you know, she got on and she just did a little meander book, which I love. You guys know I love her. So if you haven't checked out Carla Caged Fish, go over and check her out. She's like such a fun artist, and she's whimsical, and she does like really cool stuff. Yes, I'm a momby, Amberly. That is right. I am a total momby today. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Don't you love Carla Susan? Isn't she fun? Like, and she's so real, you know? She's just like, oh, this didn't work, or that sucks, or whatever, you know? I don't know if she would have, I don't know if she'll ever have Mr. Hot Pants in her group, but you know. So, you know, please don't get me wrong, ladies. I'm not telling you that you have to only use recycled materials for your journals. All I'm saying is that the same techniques can be used on ugly scrapbooking paper and stuff that you like, you know? But for me, I'm all, you know me, I'm all about the recycling. See, that's like pretty cool for a newspaper. Like for, it has that chalkboard paint, that bottle that I told you just keeps on giving, right? And that I can't seem to use up. And then just some stamping with white ink. So, yes, Brenda, he was Hot Pockets. You were right about that. So ridiculous, you guys. So silly. So, I have some other stamps. Maybe I'll use those. Anyway, it was ridiculous. The whole situation was ridiculous, but that was so funny. Guys, who knew? I love her too, Amberly. You know? So Brenda says she's going to live stream tonight. What time are you live streaming, Brenda? And what time zone are you in, Brenda? So if you guys want to head over to Brenda's channel, if you go to the Facebook group, she posted a link in our Facebook group. It's Brenda G Designs, and she's going to be streaming live if you guys want some company. What are you going to work on, Henny? She's going to do 8 p.m. Eastern time. So what are you working on? Really, Lisa? You would never have thought of using junk mail? Do you guys, I'm really not. I mean, I love scrapbooking paper. Don't get me wrong. I do love it. But, you know, I told you guys, it's like, for me, it's the creative outlet that I like more than trying to make it perfect. You know? So, it is the creative outlet that I like. And I also like the element of that whatever I make isn't going to look like anything anybody else makes. You know? So, I like that too. Anybody else like that? Anybody else sort of into like wanting your stuff to be like just a little bit different, or just you know, all about you? You guys, I'm telling you, I am a real mommy. I love some of the traditional scrapbooking paper though. Like I like that paper pad that you wanted, Diana. I loved that paper pad, but I would never spend the money on it. I'm sorry. I don't mean to say that I'm cheap, but I guess I am. I just can't bring myself to spend the money on it. It's like I just can't. And I know that all these are gonna be my backgrounds. Or the reason I did a lot of little thin ones is because I think they may be my backgrounds for our ATCs we're gonna work on tomorrow. So if you guys want to join in tomorrow, we're gonna be making ATCs. You just need to bring some playing cards, or cut your paper in a 2.5 by 3.5 inch, inch square. And we're going to be making ATCs. Bring a fashion magazine. You basically need some pictures of ladies. So whatever you find that you want, a fashion magazine. And I suggest you get a higher end fashion magazine. I'm not telling you to go buy one brand new, but I would definitely hit up the thrift store for, a Vogue or a Bazaar or a Cosmo or one of those magazines, because the pictures, the images in them are really good. You can suggest brown ink, but I don't have any in front of me, Diana. So that's why I'm a momby. Don't have any brown ink, but I just thought that I would. It's also going to be layers. I mean, you can't really see it because it's washed out with the light here, but it's actually a much brighter piece than it's showing up there. So, it looks like a mermaid in here. Oh, cool. This is just a piece of this, the Safeway flyer with cheap acrylic paint on it. So, I mean, you can see the layers when you get up close to it. It just doesn't quite translate on camera. I don't have all my stamp pads out. What I have is like just what I have in front of me, and I have some fluorescent paints, but I'm not crazy about them. You know, I have those ones. I mean, I like them. I guess I could have stamped pink on it. These Brilliance ones, they're like a pearlescent, and they're not terrible, but I'm not crazy about them. So if you guys want to make ATCs with us tomorrow, you know, just come with your magazine and your cards and a glue stick, okay? We're not going to be putting any matte medium on it. We're just going to be doing it with glue stick. Because I think glue stick, a permanent glue stick, you can, after you've laid your layers down, if you wanted to put like a matte medium or if you want a glossy finish to it, you can do it after you've laid your layers down. It just gets too, you know what I mean? Too, not muddy, but just too sticky or something, and then they'll stick together. You want to wait until your whole thing is done, and if you want a layer of coat, if you want to really like decoupage it down so that there's no, whatever you want to call it, you can do it then. You can also use an acrylic spray, but you know, I'm just trying to decide what I'm going to put on this one. I thought I had my stencils here, but I don't. I must have some stencils somewhere close by. So how was your weekend? Well, everybody tell me about your weekend. I want to hear what happened. What did you guys do? What was going on for your weekend? Oh, I love this stencil. It's one of my favorite ones. What was up for your weekend? Mine was pretty uneventful, honestly. It was very well, after the live stream on Friday, how do you top that laugh for the week, right? The weekend. I'm trying to even think of what we did. It seems like my weekends are always jam-packed full, but I can't even tell you what we did. Is that crazy? I don't even know what I did. Is that a sign of aging when you can't remember what you did for the weekend? Is that a sign? I was looking for I don't know where my daubers are. I thought I had them here, but I don't. I'm going to need a sponge. I need something. Let's see. I need something. I need the problem is I cleaned up my space. This is what happens is I clean up my space and then I come back and I want to do something and I don't have the stuff. So I'm kind of relieved about. Yeah, gold and matte medium, your pages won't stick together. And also, Elmer's Glue All. Like, let me see, I have a bottle of it somewhere right around here because I was just using it yesterday on a project. Like a regular bottle of, it has to be the Glue All one, not the school glue. Because the school glue is water activated, but the Glue All isn't. So it just says Elmer's Glue All on it. That actually works great. And I have a bottle somewhere here. Here it is. This will not stick your pages together. Elmer's Glue All. And right now it's all on sale because of school. And you can buy this in a big gallon. Okay? The white ink pad was a Stampin' Up! One. And I didn't buy it, you guys, so I don't know how much it is. I told you guys one of my friends was moving off island. And she gave me a bunch of stuff. It's called Whisper White Pigment Ink, and it's by Stampin' Up! So if you guys, anybody that loves Stampin' Up!, go and... Bye, Tina. So, if you guys wanted to, F. Gilmer, what's your first name? So we'll call you by your first name. So if you wanted a cheaper version to matte medium, use that Elmer's Glue All, and you can make it, you can thin it out, you know, do like two parts glue to 1 part water, you know, and then make it like a thicker than milk consistency, and then you can have a similar consistency to that gloss medium for like, I think this bottle I paid $1.99 for. So you would get a lot out of it if you wanted to. And it doesn't activate, so you could, you know, you could do your, you know, also whiteout's on sale right now because of back to school stuff. So I know we were talking about Posca pens, you know, and I love Posca pens, but they're expensive. So if anybody wants a really cheap alternative, go get yourself some Elmer's, some whiteout. It works really good. I should have put what on my wish list? It's a pigment permanent ink. Yeah, this is a permanent one. This is a pigment ink. It's not the cheap. It's not the like the Tim Holtz, whatever. What? Not the distress ink. The thing is, if you're gonna use a distress ink or anything like that, you want to do that as your last layer, especially if you're gonna glue on top of it, because it activates. You guys, it's water activated. So, I mean, I guess if you, if you don't care, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's up to you. It's totally up to you. But I'm just saying, if you wanted to do some, if you wanted to have a, you know what I mean. If you want to have, if you don't want it to run, because it will run when you add any sort of moisture to it, be it glue or anything like that, it will run. So these are papers I'm going to use in, or some of them I'm going to use in my playing cards tomorrow and my ATCs. So bring your painty papers, bring tissue paper, whatever you want to put on yours. You know, painty papers, tissue paper. You definitely need a light sanding, so bring a small, either an emery board or some sandpaper. And if you're going to do sandpaper, if you're going to actually get some, doesn't matter what grit, but you're not, if you have a really stiff grit paper, you're going to want to just do it lightly, you know. So finer grit is probably better. Yeah. I like it too, Diana. What should I put on my wish list, Susan? What did I miss? What should I put on my wish list? You know, I'm never going to use these guys. I'm never going to use my, I'm never going to use these papers just as they are. That's just because it's me. But, you know, if you wanted to, like, use yours just as they are, have at it. You know, for me, they're going to be pieces that I cut up. So I am not going to use the whole piece of anything. Oh, she's talking to you, Scotty. I was like, what? I didn't even know I have a wish list. Although, can I tell you, remember I told you guys I wanted those little gelatos, or they're not really gelatos, they're like the children's, they're like gelatos, they're those gel crayons, but you can get them, they're super cheap. You can get them super cheap, especially right now, but they were out of them when I went to the store. One of you guys messaged me and is sending me some. She found some really inexpensive ones, or she found some and then she had a coupon for them and or whatever, and she ended up getting them for very inexpensive, and she messaged me and she said they only had 2 left and she bought one for herself and she's going to send me one. I was like, really? I was like, wow. When I posted that list, that was not my intention. I just kind of want to see where you guys are with your crafting stuff, because sometimes if we all have a similar like, then it's something that we can explore together, like how to use it, what to make with it. I know, isn't that nice? That was so nice, Susan. I was like shocked. I was like, seriously? You guys, I never want you to feel like you have to send me a damn thing. I've got enough of my own trashy stuff going on. I got my own trashy stuff. I do. I got some trashy stuff, and I got it going on with the trashy here. I got my own newspapers. I got my own. Because I use non-traditional supplies, I don't think I'm ever out of supplies. You know? Do you guys ever feel like that? Because if you use non-traditional supplies, you're ever out of supplies. Hi, Frida from Missouri. Awesome. This isn't my normal stream day. I usually stream on Tuesdays and Fridays, but after our ridiculous meltdown yesterday, I was like, And the other thing is I was going to try and make the kit. So I had plans yesterday. I was like, I'm going to make the kit today. And when I do the drawing, I'm going to show the kit. Guys, the meltdown happened and the kit went out the window. I started it, but I didn't finish it. So I'm going to put a bunch of, I think the coolest thing about the kits that I make is they have like, stuff I hand make in it, like painted papers and stuff like that you wouldn't necessarily have in your stash. And, because each one of our artwork is so different, our styles are different, it comes out different. I can stream whenever I want. You're right, Susan. But I'm just saying, like, like sometimes I'll get a message from somebody who says, well, you didn't tell me you were streaming. You guys, I live my world. My world is not planned, I'm in a different space. I used to be like a planner. Now I don't plan anything anymore. Your sound is gone, Super Dimples. You may have to refresh if your sound is gone. So I'm not encouraging you guys to hoard or to keep things that you're not going to use. I'm not encouraging that. I am not encouraging you to I'm not encouraging you to keep and do things that are against your grain. I'm just showing you what I do, and sometimes I think when you see somebody who does something a little different than you do, it sort of makes an impression on you to think that you can think a little bit more outside the box. That's all. So I don't want anyone to think that I'm not a staunch anything. I just like recycled materials because I can get them more easily. Because say I want to spend my day making painty papers and I don't like the way it came out. I didn't spend $25 on a block of watercolor paper, and you know what I mean? That's just where I am though, you guys. You have to do what works for you. This technique definitely works better with makeup sponges, but I don't know where mine are. They're outside in a box in the garage waiting for my... I needed my peeps. You guys, I was such a zombie. It was ridiculous is what it was. I do always need you guys. I love hanging with you. So did anybody sleep last night? I think it was the energy of the full moon or whatever it is. I know the full moon, doesn't it peak tonight? But I was wide ass awake. Okay? Wide ass awake. And I was like, something's got to give here. I got to be able to get some sleep or I'm never going to be able to make the lunch at 6 o'clock in the morning. You didn't have any sleep either? I'm telling you. I woke up, I was like, what is going on here? This is so crazy. It was ridiculous. It was totally ridiculous. I was trying to think if I had any good fun stories to tell you. Stuff always happens to me, and I know you guys would find it funny. Sometimes I don't find it funny. Sometimes my ridiculousness overwhelms me and I don't find it funny. Throw it out the window soon. No, don't throw it out. Hi, Nancy. Oh, it's your phone? You get up at 4 a.m. every day, Lisa? Oh my gosh, what do you do, Lisa, that you get up at 4 a.m.? I couldn't get up at 4 a.m. if I wanted to, you guys. All right, you lurkers, I see you out there. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Tell me what's going on in your world. It is definitely a momby day for me. You run a dry cleaning store, Lisa? Oh, okay. Oh, you specialize in wedding dresses and film costumes. That sounds awesome. Hey, Norma. Hey, Nora Jean. Hey. I love you, Scotty. You're right. We don't know what we're talking about. You're absolutely right. Not today, at least. Not today, at least. Not today. So how many of you guys are going to make the ATC thing with me tomorrow? I'm excited to make it. I'm excited to do them. I've been making them for a while, and I'm excited to share my ridiculous process with you. Oh, no sound. Oh, no. Hey, Amberly. Susan, you are so bad. We are not talking about a huge, giant giveaway. So, you guys make sure you tune in to if you want to hang out with Brenda. What are you making, Brenda? I'm sorry I missed it because I wasn't watching the chat. I wasn't watching the chat. I was not watching. I was not watching the chat. It'll be your first ATCs. Oh my God, Scotty, welcome. I'm going to tell you right here, right now. I'm going to put a warning on the video. Warning on the video. It is addictive. Making ATCs is addictive. So Brenda's going to make a journal. So if you guys want to make a journal along with Brenda, go and hang out with her. Or I'm going to try to. I just have to go pick up my daughter, and this will be our first day after school thing, and you know, that sort of thing. So we'll see how that goes, okay? ATCs are addictive, Scotty. You know, they're kind of like making tags. You know, you start getting into it, and you're going to be like, so, it's amazing. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be, oh, hi, Juno. It's going to be your first as well. Oh my God, it's so fun. It's so fun. And then the next thing, while you guys are in yard sale heaven, because I know on the mainland you guys are in, or wherever you guys are, here it's not yard sale heaven, but well, pick up your playing cards at yard sale heaven. Pick up playing cards, or, you know, like the cards from like games, and, you know, I sometimes scour for game pieces and stuff like that, you know, like that sort of bits and pieces. It's going to be so fun. You're going to love it. It's like, it's so fun. I love making ATCs. Isn't it addictive, Nancy? Fill the diff girl in. Somebody write to her what we're saying, because I can't type with paint on my hands. We're talking about a deck of cards. You need it. Well, you don't need a deck of cards. You can cut your cards. But a playing card is the size of an ATC, which is 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. Okay, so if you can use old maid cards, use any cards you want. You know, it's just 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches, and that's just the standard. That's the size of an ATC. Okay, so you can make it. If you don't have a deck of playing cards, you can cut your own. But all I can tell you is that when you go and you see them, or maybe you have kids or grandkids and they've lost the cards that you have, don't throw them away. They make perfect mini canvases. It's addictive making ATCs. ATC stands for Artist Trading Card. At least I find it addictive. Maybe you guys don't. And I know you guys all like to give and receive Happy Mail. Well, think about it. You can put 4 or 5 in a car of ATCs in an envelope. If you don't put like if you don't make them hugely 3-dimensional, you know. Lisa, if you come tomorrow, I'm going to show you my trick on how to do them. And they're not, you know, the thing is, I think we make it harder for ourselves than we need to. That's why, like, if you've done any of the painty papers with me, or your serendipity paper, or that stuff, you already have backgrounds and stuff to put on them. Okay? You already have backgrounds, you already have cool stuff to put on them. And you can use your junk mail, and you can use, if you have any of those security envelopes, you know, because I'm addicted. How many of you guys are addicted to the patterning inside of bill envelopes, security envelopes? I am, okay? I am addicted to the patterning inside of security envelopes. Which brings me to something. If somebody actually had some Target ones, the ones that have red inside of it, I would love that. If somebody would message me, I'll send you something in return. If you want something, if you have the if you want some of my painty papers or something, I would love. I don't get a Target. I don't have a Target charge card, so I don't get one. And I think inside of their bills have red security patterning. Red patterning. Hi, Bridgeline. It's not Friday or any other day. It's another day. Today's Monday, Bridgeline. No, you didn't. It's not. It's just an extra day. And I was making painty papers, and I've been up since 6 a.m. and needed to do some drawing and needed to do some stuff. So you're right. It's seriously addictive, right? Target has a red patterning inside of it, okay? I haven't... Once somebody made me... God, this just makes me crazy because my stuff's in storage, but somebody made me the coolest, very coolest little envelopes and stuff out of red Target on, and they were red. You have folders filled, Nora Jean? What do you use yours for? Well, I love them. I have to tell you, I'm like all into it. I'm so into it. I am into it. I am so into it that I can't even tell you. I love the patterning. I don't know what it is about it, but I'm just... It's so silly, I know, but I like it. Red ones are Target. I mean, there might be something else too, but so far as I know, they're just Target. But maybe there's somebody else. I don't know. Only thing about newspaper, you guys, is you can't get it super, super wet or it will buckle. But you know that already. Even if you put a layer of paint on it, it'll just wrinkle. But you know that. That's why it's better to use a glue stick if you can. If you're going to use it for your... Bridgeline says she's excited when there's green inside. I haven't had a green one, I don't think. I don't think I've had a green. I have all sorts of shades of blue and gray. Somebody recently posted in one of our groups, and I don't know which one. Maybe it was Crafting Mamas, had a beautiful patterning that came inside of their electric bill, and I thought it was nice. So that's just, I like that sort of thing. You made a journal with all of yours? Oh, that sounds great. That would be a great project to make a journal out of a security envelopes. I would love that. I've made pockets for my journals. I haven't made a whole journal out of them. I've made tabs. I like making tabs out of them. I like making tabs. I like making, I don't know, all sorts of adding it to bits and pieces. The others are keeping each other warm. Oh, I love that. I think that's true of many of us in our supplies. It's all keeping each other warm, right? How many of you guys have supplies that's keeping each other warm? I love that. That's a great saying. Okay, so you guys want to have a good laugh. So yesterday I was talking to Hadi at some point. He was working, and I think I was just talking to him on the phone because it wasn't in person. And we had been talking about taking yoga together. I love yoga. And we had been talking about it, and I said, but it has to be an early enough morning class because most of them are like at a really weird time. And when you have like a 10-year-old and she has after school projects and processes and homework and all that stuff, you don't, for me, I'm not saying for everybody else. So this morning, he texted me. He got up really early too because we all went on, to school and that sort of thing. He got up, he found, You ready? Hot yoga. You know, Bikram yoga. It's 6:30 in the morning. You guys, I'm not a morning person. I am not a morning person. Okay? So he's like, I think we could do Bikram yoga. Here's a yoga studio. I said, what are we going to do with our kid at 6:30 in the morning? I said, that's ridiculous. I said, she has to be at school at 7:15. He's like, she'll have to come with us. And I'm like, to hot yoga? I said, she's not going to come to hot yoga. Anyway, that was his answer. Bikram yoga at 6:15 in the morning, you guys. I was like, I said, I think let's look for a different yoga. I wasn't really quite thinking Bikram yoga. I was just thinking regular yoga, you know. And he was just like, I said, but you have at it. So 6:30 in the morning for the non-morning person to do Bikram yoga. Ridiculous, right? Ridiculous. Ridiculous, ridiculous. Not that Bikram yoga is bad. I'm just saying, if you're not a morning person, yoga at 6:30 in the morning is... I'm not a morning person, Scotty. I'm not. I mean, I'm not. I don't know. And you know, my kid's not a morning person either. So this morning was rough on all of us. This morning was like, nobody wanted to get up. No one. No one wanted to get up. You know, that coupled with the jitters and the nerves of like, who's my teacher going to be? Am I going to have any friends in my class? You know? So all these are going to be components in my, so tomorrow if you want to participate, you just need to bring your painty papers, whatever they look like to you, your playing cards, or I think we're going to work on like, say 5, right? 5 at a time. That's, my secret is I work on multiples at a time, you know, so that way it doesn't feel like I'm working and fiddling on one thing, because everything, I don't care what anyone says, goes through an awkward phase where you don't like it, where you're looking at it. Hi, Patricia. Where you're looking at it and you do yoga every day, Phaedra. That's awesome. Everything goes through an awkward phase in any piece of artwork that you do. So I've very rarely ever made a piece of artwork, no matter what it is, where I'm like, oh, that was just perfect. You know, that was easy or no brainer or whatever. I very rarely ever have made anything like that. Most of the time it takes on some sort of an awkward stage where I'm like, okay, well that's ugly. And so I'm just saying to you, instead of getting yourself into a thought process of like, these have to be perfect, if you make multiples of anything at once, there'll always be one that you like more than another, right? So you sat here giggling at hot yoga at 6:15. I know, right? Oh my God. Oh no, are you really cold? Is it cold where you are, Bridgeline? You found it. You found me, Frida. You found me on my envelope, my thing using envelopes. I'm a little addicted to envelopes. I'm not gonna lie there. So tomorrow we'll make, I think, 5. So come with 5 playing cards. That'll be our goal. Maybe we'll only make 3, but we'll start 5. So come with 5 playing cards or 5 ATCs, right? Or 5 ATC size pieces of paper, 2.5, like either cardstock or packaging or something like that. 2.5 by 3.5. And so Susan's saying red security pattern papers on Pinterest. Oh, really? Cool. You know, I'm not great at using Pinterest. Are you good at using Pinterest? You eat vegetables every day. Does that count? You're very funny. You guys are so funny. Does that count instead of going to hot yoga? Oh, no. Lisa, don't get upset. Okay, see, that's why I don't want to tell you ahead. So just bring 5, okay? Please trust me with this. You know, this is not, okay, I know I say this all the time. It's not supposed to be stressful. It's supposed to be fun. If they don't come out good, cut them up and use them. You hate hot yogurt. You guys are hilarious. hot yogurt. You guys, oh my God. Oh Lord, you guys are so funny. I wanted to also mention something. I know this is silly. So, hi Mary. If you're a part of our Facebook group, we're happy you're here. If you're part of our Facebook group, you don't have to be a friend or take a friend request from everybody that's in our group, okay? So, because our group has grown so fast, get to know people first in the group, and then if you decide you want to be friends with them, do it. Liz, nobody called a meeting in the middle of the day. I was just trying to do my drawing I was supposed to do yesterday. Lisa, we are like laughing. Yes, it is ridiculous. We are laughing. It is pretty ridiculous. I love you guys. I'm happy you're all here with me. But I just wanted to talk to you about being safe on Facebook. And I know I'm not all your mothers or whatever, but hot yogurt on calamari. You guys are crazy. In a pocket, right, Brenda? Hot yogurt on calamari in a pocket. Oh my God, even the image of that is ridiculous. Our group has grown so fast. I don't know everybody that joins. And, even though we as admin are trying to go through and sift out, there are people that join that are like salespeople or fishing people or whatever. So, get to know somebody in the Facebook group for a while. Chat with them about posts or whatever. And check out their profiles before you just add them to your friends. Because, I got a message from one of the members this morning from somebody that asked her for a friend request, and she showed me the person, and then I went to try to find them in our group, and they had disappeared. So you know what that means? That means that they were caught fishing. Somebody else had reported them, maybe not even from our group, and maybe not even from our group, but somebody had reported them to Facebook, and they were like either asking for money or doing something that's not kosher. So I know we're creating a safe space for all of us to create and share our creativity, but you don't have to be friends. And you know what? You can message people without being friends with them on Facebook. Okay? Just so you know that. Don't have to be friends with somebody. You can personal message somebody without being friends with them. So I'm just saying, even though we try really hard, trust me, as many people as we have in our group, we have declined as many as we have. So I think, how many members do we have now? Like 1,300 members? I would say we've declined at least maybe 500 or 600. Every single day. Like some days we get tons of requests, and maybe I only accept one person, because we do go through and look at their profiles. And if they don't have anything in their profiles, and if they don't have any friends, and if they don't belong to any other crafting style groups, I don't add them. I don't, because, you're sitting here. Oh, Bridgeline, you missed it. Go back and watch the one that says Pocket Man. Oh my God, that was on Friday. That was like, was that on Friday or was that on Tuesday? Because I can't remember. They kind of all go together for me. It was hilarious, okay? We were talking about a lewd man who joined our Facebook group, who we've since booted. I mean, if you guys could see some of the people that asked to join, it's like, no. And if you guys see anything that seems like not kosher, or, message one of the admin, because we'll delete them right away. It's not, it's not the number of members we have in our group. It's the quality of members we have in our group. And I'm just fine letting go of people who don't want to follow the tiny guidelines we have. And if anybody does anything, I'm like happy to let them go. I'm not, I'm not here to it needs to be a safe place for all of us. So I'm just letting you know that if you see anything weird, just let them go. Let Diana or Ash know, or Susan know, and we'll delete them, because ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Hi, Diana. I am using a diaper wipe. Remember when I told you guys? Oh my God. Liz, that was the picture. But just like me, you are very naive. There was nothing wrong with, he did not repair his pocket. He was just wanting you to look in that area. Oh, Liz, don't even get us started. This is a baby wipe. So remember when I told you guys say baby wipes? Obviously, I didn't mean used baby wipes. I meant the ones that I use for like when I'm making painty papers, or I wipe my stamps off with them, or crafting used baby wipes. So even after you use these, you can go back and make fabric paper with them, and maybe we'll do that one day. It's pretty fun. You guys are so funny. Hi, Patricia. The Facebook group is called Crafting Mamas with an apostrophe S. But if you go to the bottom where it says like further description or more or whatever it says, there'll be a link in there. So anyway, so you can make fabric paper with these, which I like doing. You know, have you guys made fabric paper? You can make them with these and with dryer sheets. You can also cut these up and make flowers out of them. Sometimes I've made ruffles with them, like where you cut them and then you just sew them, and then I sew them to the bottom of a page or something. You enjoyed us watching us do the ridiculous laughing hysterically? Oh my God, you guys, that was so crazy. Like, who could have even thought that would happen? I didn't have any clue. So anyway, you guys know me. I can't even handle myself sometimes. So let alone like the ridiculousness of the pocket thing. That was so, oh my God. That was so funny. He gave us a great laugh, and I'm glad about that. That was like the best part of him joining our Facebook group, was the laughing part. It was not the part where I was trying to be politically correct. I guess sometimes you can't afford to be politically correct, right? Sometimes you just have to boot people when you have to go with your gut instinct and boot them. I was just trying not to be a prude. Oh my God, you guys, seriously. So now you guys see my painty paper process, and this is all newspaper that I've been doing. You can add a gloss medium to it, but you're gonna have to do it with a stiff bristled brush thinly, and you can't overdo it. Do you know what I mean? You can't overdo it. This is also great if you guys make who makes magazine journals here? Does anybody make art journals or magazine journals? These pages are great to use for it because they're so thin. When you're adding it with a glue stick, when you're adding it with a glue stick, I started it. Oh my God, please. When you're adding it with a glue stick, it works really good because it's super thin. How am I making circles? This is a jam lid. This is a jam lid, a jar lid. And I hot glued some corks from wine bottles. I was telling everyone, go and ask if you live anywhere near a hotel or even a high-end restaurant, or any restaurant really that serves, or a bar that serves wine. Ask them for their corks. I mean, I have bags of them. I have friends, there's lots of places to drink here in Maui, and I try to save the natural cork ones, the ones that the cork's made from the cork tree, to actually carve stamps in with, which we can do sometime. It's really fun. You can carve into these. It's not as easy as carving into a natural cork. So I hot glued these onto lids. I saved the jar lids, like when I'm recycling, and I saved the jar lids, and then that's all. Not a big fancy tool. It's my mark making tool. But you know what? It gets you knowing and thinking that you can make mark making tools out of anything. So, if you find something that you think is super cool, save it. It might be the best thing to make a mark making tool with. You don't know. Charlie's decided, even she's not a morning dog, okay? She got up and now she went back to bed. She was hiding under the covers. She got up and went back to sleep. Oh, you're going to go see your mom, Scotty? That's awesome. I think that's so nice. I hope you have a great trip. And I buy the really cheap wet wipes. I buy like whatever would be like the equivalent of what the generic brand is. Because I'm just using it for usually to clean off my stamps or my jelly plate or whatever. Some sort of art supply thing. So you don't need like, the heavy duty ones. Just buy the cheap ones. And you can reuse them in your art. You know what? I don't know the name of the bird calling outside. You guys, there's so many birds in my yard. So my yard looks like a jungle. I was telling somebody yesterday, the people that live around me, I don't know. They don't have anything growing in their yard. And because of all the energy work that I do on myself every day, everything around me grows like crazy. Like when we first moved to this house a few years ago, I mean, it looked nice. It was nicely landscaped. But it wasn't, now it looks like a jungle. Now everything just grows and grows and grows. So I have like a ton of birds. Like I had some red birds. They came and had babies and had had a nest in my front yard in one of my little bushes. And I've had, I don't know, they look like a version of like chickadees, but they're not. I don't know what they are. I don't think they're native to here, but I don't know. They also had their little tiny bird, like finches. They had babies. They laid eggs. Then I also get these big sort of crane birds. And then, hi Ash. Yeah, Bridgeline, what did you ask? Could you ask me again? I missed it. So, and then I also have doves. We also have a version of, I don't know if they're the same kind of doves as they are on the mainland, but we have that. And then, I don't know. I feel really fortunate because a lot of things like to live in my yard. So, Brenda, you're so funny. They aren't really loud today. Usually, sometimes they get going so loud. It's like, whoa, you're like, what is going on there? So I don't know what it is. We also have these like birds that look like egrets, and they're kind of noisy, as well. There are mockingbirds here, so honestly, I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. Her question was the name of the bird. No, but you know what? I will, if I can, maybe one of my neighbors knows. You guys, I'll tell you my ridiculousness. I can tell you this. This is a ridiculous thing that happened to me yesterday. Oh my gosh. See, things happen to me. I just let it go. So, we have bananas that grow in our yard. There's all different varieties of bananas, but my favorite ones that are from here, or that that are, I don't know, everybody has their own favorite. I like these ones that are called apple bananas, and they're just really small. I'll show you sometime. I'll try to take I was telling somebody yesterday, maybe it was Susan, I would try to take a video of, I would try to make a video of how bananas grow. So they grow in bunches, like the trees are really close together, and they make their new babies at the bottom. They come up at the bottom, little plants. And then they fruit one time, and it's about 100 pounds at a time, and then they die. And they grow in clumps. Like bananas, the way that you see them as a fruit, that's how they grow as trees. So our neighbor next door, who doesn't have any foliage in his yard because he's afraid of bugs, okay? Our neighbor next door called me up or called us up and said that bananas were our bananas were in his yard, or our bananas were, anyway, that his backyard was inundated with our bananas. And quite honestly, I didn't really look in his backyard. You know, like, basically, you know, there's fences between our houses, but little wooden fences, and hush, somebody's walking outside, so the dog has to, like, say, I'm here and I know you're here too. Anyway, so he, like, tells us that our bananas are in his yard and So Hadi and I, not this past weekend, the weekend before, spent a whole day weeding out these bananas, like cutting down all the dead ones, and it's kind of hard to tell because unless you've seen them fruit, and I'm not watching them all the time, you guys. I mean, most of the time I see them, but they're like kind of in the back corner of the property that we live on. So we must have spent, I don't know, I was really sore. He worked many hours. We did part of Saturday and then all day Sunday last week. And we ended up with this huge pile of banana trunks and leaves. And some of the trunks are really big. And they're hard to get to because if everything's growing together, you know, in a clump, you don't want to cut off the new ones, the ones that haven't fruited. So it's like a whole thing. So we weeded it out. We ended up with a pile of stuff about 6 feet high and 20 feet long, at least. Okay, it took up like a quarter of our side yard, like this little area that we have. And I told you that he lost his glasses in the midst of it, and it was so ridiculous. So, and we did it because this guy was constantly complaining about our bananas, right? Like he can't see his way to cutting whatever's hanging over his fence, or I don't quite know what it is. I think some people just need a reason to complain. So he texted Hadi on Friday night and said, "Are you home?" Well, no, he's not home. He works on Friday night, and he works on the weekends. And so he was like, "No, I'm not home. Why? What's wrong? What's going on, you know?" And he's like, "Your bananas." Hadi lost his glasses. It was so ridiculous. Actually, it's a whole nother story. He said, "Your bananas have made a hole in my bumper." And I'm like, he calls me up. He's just, and nothing bothers him, you guys. Nothing. He's just so easygoing. He's like, "I just have to vent." He calls me up. He goes, "I just have to vent." I'm like, "What happened?" He's like, "Next door neighbor calls me telling me that our bananas have made a hole in his bumper." I'm like, I said, I said, "His car's not parked back there, like in the backyard." I said, "He couldn't even get his car back there if he wanted to." I said, "Whatever." And it was dark. He goes, "Can you, I said, "I can't see anything." And so he's like, he's like, "I just have to vent." So, okay, guys, so he's just like so upset. So the next day he goes over and he goes, "Well, there was a bumper, but I think it was like laying in his backyard. Like it was, first of all, in the tropics, the sun's so hot, you can't leave any sort of plastic, anything outside. The sun will deteriorate it and put a hole in it in like 2 seconds. Okay. And the other thing is like, how, even if a banana like fell on it, how could it cause a hole in his bumper? I mean, first of all, bananas are not like hardwood trees. They're fibrous and porous, so, and if they're falling over, it's generally because they're dead, right? They're not. And anyway, I was like, I don't know. So the guy's hedging. He wants us to put up a 9-foot tall, cinder block wall. And I said, no. I said, I'm not putting up a 9-foot tall cinder block wall just because somebody doesn't want any vegetation in their yard. Cut them. If my bananas go over on your side, cut them off. I mean, there's a fence between our yard. You guys, he had taken this rubber bumper. Okay, so because we'd weeded out all the bananas, a couple of them had fruit on it, and you realize that they're fruit, and it's like 100 pounds of fruit on there. It's heavy. It's a heavy stalk. So all those trees that were holding it up, were taken away, and so the tree itself, or the banana part, it leaned on it. He had to have laid his bumper right up against the bumper that had been in his yard for I don't know how long. had to have laid it right against the fence where the bananas were for it to have caused any damage. I was so over it. I just said to him, I said, so what do you want us to do about it? I mean, obviously he wants us to put up this big wall. And I said, I didn't move to the tropics to like look at some big cement wall. I mean, that might be something you find in a city, but it's ridiculous. Not in our neighborhood. And the other thing is just so silly. And so anyway, we were like, so now he had to cut the bananas off the tree. It was pretty full, but they weren't quite ripe yet. So now I have this huge 100 pounds of bananas hanging in my garage while they ripen up. But I'm just telling you, that is my ridiculousness. I mean, how can bananas like cause a hole in a bumper? I was like, oh my God. And I said, and if it's been sitting in his yard all these months, I said, you know, the plastic 9 times out of 10 was weakened by the sun. It's not because a banana leaf grazed it. That's my ridiculousness, you guys. That and the lady behind us called to tell me that the birds are pooping in her yard. Okay, the wild birds are pooping in her yard. That if I could please cut my tree, and I'm not cutting the tree because it offers shade to the back apartment that's in the back of our house, right, to the lady that lives back there. If I could cut, and we've pruned it, if I would cut my tree because the birds that are in the wild were pooping in her yard and she would like the birds to stop. Like, I'm that powerful that I can control all of nature to have the wild birds quit pooping in her yard. Guys, that was my ridiculousness for the weekend. I was like, oh my God. I was like, seriously? Like, would you in your right mind ever call somebody up and say, could you please have the birds stop pooping in my yard? I mean, you are so powerful. Could you please do that for me? I know, right, Kat? It's ridiculous. It's like, I just said, well, thank you for letting me know. Like, what am I supposed to do with that information? Thank you for letting me know. I'll have a chat with the divine. I'll say, hey, you know, Miss Smith doesn't want the birds to poop in her yard. Can you, birds don't poop in her yard. I mean, it's like ridiculous. So that was my ridiculous. So yes, Ash, Hottie lost his glasses. Okay, so we did all those bananas, and it was so hot. Not this Sunday, but the Sunday before. And he came in because they were going to go to the beach. He and the babe were going to go to the beach. They were going to go and do some stand-up paddleboarding, and he's like, have you seen my glasses? I'm like, no, I haven't seen your glasses. I said, you had them on your head. And he's like, when did I last have them? And now you realize we've been working in the yard all this time. I'm sweating. You know, he's a new eyeglass wearer, so he's not as aware of his glasses as, like, say, someone like me is, you know. And he doesn't need them for everything, but I think he might have thrown them in that pile of bananas. And believe me, we went through all of it. Crazy neighbors. Oh, my God, Phaedra, please. I was just, like, out of my mind. And you should have seen me trying to, like, anyway. So he lost his glasses. He ordered some new ones, but it'll be like a week before they come in, and he's been having, his eyes look incredibly bloodshot from even though he has like some reading glasses he's wearing, he needs the other ones. Oh, Amberly, I totally am. I'm absolutely sending a prayer for you. I'm so sorry. Where do you live, Amberly? Obviously, I can speak to the birds, Juno. I'm a bird whisperer. I didn't know it, but I must be, right? Speak to the birds so they won't poop in our yard. I was just like, they would be happy. It's so ridiculous, you guys. We live in one of the most beautiful places on the earth. I mean, literally the most beautiful places. Like, I look out at my window at these mountains every day, and they're just gorgeous and lush and green. And people just, they move into a house and they cut everything out of their yards, and they live. I don't understand it. Yes, I'm a bird whisperer. I'm a junk journaling bird whisperer. Amberly, you live in Tennessee. I'm a total bird whisperer. You guys, it's like ridiculous. It's like I don't know why people do and say the like. I'm just like baffled. I just like let it go. Like I don't even know like what can I, how can I possibly add to anything like, and how can you possibly like, how, you can't even add to their anything. You can't even like say okay well it's something I can remedy. And like why come tell me? It's like I don't know. I think you're right. I really do think you're right, Lisa. I think you're right. I really do think you're right. I think that no, you cannot reason with the unreasonable, and you also cannot solve everyone's problems. And like, okay, so the same lady that like complained about the birds, she has this dog that never stops barking. I've never once said anything to her. When you guys hear that dog barking outside that's incessant all the time, that's her dog. I never say anything to her. Like, I don't say, your dog is barking and it's stressing me out. I don't say anything. I say nothing. I say zero. I say absolutely nothing. I don't say anything. I just, I go about my life. I don't live my life thinking like, oh, well, her dog's barking, so that's going to make my life miserable. I don't. I don't say anything to her. I don't know. People are just a little crazy. I think that's all it is. And I think you're right. It's like, what? That was my weekend. That was my weekend between the bananas and the lady that told me that I needed to like, that the birds were pooping in her yard. Oh, I have eaten my share of ramen in my day. I have eaten my share of ramen in my day. I can tell you I have eaten ramen in my day. I have that's a really popular thing here, Amberly. Eating those type of noodles. I think when I was in college, I was like so poor, you guys. I ate ramen like I can't even tell you how many times a day I've had ramen. I had ramen, 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 ramen. I used to know how to make ramen where it was like kind of gourmet. You're right, Kat. I think you're right. Some people have to complain. I think they just need to feel like they're listened to. I wanted to tell the lady, but I didn't because I didn't want her to come over and become my friend. I wanted to tell her that she might want to think about taking up crafting or taking up something. You know, she might want to take up like paper crafting, recycled paper crafting. Her yard literally looks like you could. She probably cuts her yard with a. She mows her yard with scissors. Have you ever seen somebody's yard that looks like it's like so, whereas mine's like a wild, wild, crazy thing. Yeah, this is not really a stencil. This is like it's a die cut that I used, but I made it into a stencil because I like it. It's like I can't even tell you, it must be like a one of those Sizzix Bigs dies, but I like it, and I like using it both ways. Like I like using it as I like using it as the positives and then the positive and negative of it. Oh my God, she probably does. You're absolutely right. It was just ridiculous. It's just like I don't know. You guys want to see? Some of you guys think that my life it's like ridiculous. It's the total ridiculousness of it all. Like I couldn't even make this stuff up. Do you please have the birds stop pooping in my yard? I was just like, And poor Hottie, every time he's out there cutting the yard, she comes over to talk to him. I think it was a doily, you guys. I think it was I think it was a doily, like a doily die cut. And I made it out of like a tea box. And then I just use it. I'm telling you, it's like I would never in my wildest dreams ever call somebody up and say, or even walk over to their house and say, the birds from nature are pooping in my yard. Could you please have the birds stop? I mean, oh my God. So that's what I did. That was my weekend. That was my fun. The birds were pooping in the neighbor's yard, and I was being asked to intervene. Okay, because you know I'm a bird whisperer. Even though I didn't know I was a bird whisperer, right? But obviously she knew, right? She must have known that I was a bird whisperer. So silly, you guys. So silly. Brenda says, of course she comes over to talk to him because he's Hottie. Hello. I know. You guys, he's so sweet. What did he do for me this weekend? You guys would have thought was so sweet. He is so sweet, and I give him such grief. I mean, I'm not an easy person to always live with, and especially because I've got my trash mess going on, and my... What did I do? What did he do for me this weekend? Well, I told you guys he attempted to cook. It took him like 45 minutes to cook, or if I didn't tell you. So he decides, he gets up and he's like, I've got to go do my thing or whatever. I'm like, all right, have a great day. This was, I don't know if this was Saturday or Sunday, you guys, I can't remember. Maybe it was Saturday. I don't know. And I said, well, go have a great day. Go do your thing. Like, go do your, whatever you're doing. Have a fun day. He's working. And he decides, I asked him before he left, I said, would you like, it would be a fun video to make, to go talk to my neighbor and say, could you please have the birds stop pooping in my yard? So we went to, I said to him, do you want me to make you some breakfast before you go? And he was like, no, I've got to go. He was like in a rush. So I'm like, okay, cool. I said, well, have a great day. See you later. I didn't like push it. I offered it. And then he was so funny. Then he goes out and then he comes back in and he goes, maybe I should eat. And I was like, okay. I said, do you want me to make anything? He said, no, I'm happy making it. So I'm like, okay. Hey guys, an egg sandwich. I could have made him an egg sandwich in the time it took the toast to pop up, right? It took him 45 minutes to make an egg sandwich. An egg sandwich. I was like, seriously, this is ridiculous. 45 minutes to make an egg sandwich. But he made me one, and I told him it was amazing, and it was good. I mean, he's not a great cook, but it was pretty good. But 45 minutes, so I just let it go. I mean, at some point, you just gotta let them be whatever they're gonna do, and then that's that, right? So if he wants to spend 45 minutes, I mean, he could have, you know what I mean. Yeah, that was my weekend, friends. That was my weekend. And I made a bunch of painted papers, and I'm trying to get caught up on all the things that I have, which is a lot of like bits and pieces, and that's what I made. Did he have to collect the eggs? Linda, don't even get me started. Okay, no, he didn't go collect any eggs. I have a paintbrush somewhere around here. I know I do. He's not fast. He also doesn't cook. So, if you don't cook, you know what it's like if you don't really cook. Amberly, do you cook every day? I don't usually say nice things about myself, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a really good cook. And I can cook anything from scratch. And I'm happy to share some really money-saving tips with you on cooking, where it tastes really good and where you can stretch your dollar. I think we've gotten to the point where you had to squeeze the chicken, Brenda. Oh my God, yes. I think we're in a society now where people don't really know how to cook. you know, and we think that we have to have all this prepared stuff. But it costs so much money to live here, and I'm not like trying to get on my high horse about the cost of living, but I'm just saying it costs a lot to live here. So, and also too, when you go out to get food, it's not good. Like if you just like, even if you buy like prepared food, like prepared chickens and prepared whatever, you know, it's not good and it's really expensive. So I cook for all of us on a, and have a budget. I give myself a budget, and because I don't want to spend a ton of money on, hey, I can totally share my like I can make an amazing meal for a lot of people for no very little money. And there's other things that you can do that you don't even think about, like where you actually can save money in your cooking. Like, do you ever bake a chicken, Amberly? Do you ever bake chicken or anything like that? Or do you eat meat, first of all? Because if you don't eat meat, then I won't tell you some of this, but oh, Mary, you're so sweet. Pies from scratch is awesome. Pies from scratch is awesome. So, you know, even if you buy a chicken, so say you buy a chicken. So, like, here, one of the best values if you're going to go and buy, like, any sort of prepared food. First of all, I'm not really big on um, prepared food because I don't ever know what they put in it, and my kids have food allergies, so it's always better, you know what I mean? Because I don't have as many issues if somebody. So the one thing that they have here, and I think they have it everywhere, is if you have a big box store like Costco, they have like these prepared chickens. Now those are actually good. The rotisserie chickens are actually good. And so, and they're like $5. So what I do for the $5 chicken is yeah. What's a good deal, Lisa? I missed the good deal. So if I buy even if you cook your chicken from scratch or if you buy a prepared chicken, so you eat the roasted chicken, right? I take the carcass and I obviously take as much of the meat off of it after I've made the chicken or we've had dinner. And I put it aside, but then I take the carcass of the chicken and I boil it, right? And then I boil it and I add like an onion and some garlic and some sort of seasonings, whatever I have. And I boil it. And you want to do it on a slow boil so that it extracts all the flavor from it. Add a little salt. And then I strain it through a colander, and then that's my chicken broth, right? And then what I do is I take it and I put it in ice cube trays and I freeze it. And then, I mean, I have a set selection of ice cube trays for meat products. I mean, I don't make ice out of it. My refrigerator has an ice machine. And then I pop that into some sort of a sealing container in my freezer, so then when I need it, I have my chicken broth, right? Then I take the chicken that's left over, the pieces, like most everybody wants to eat the breast meat or the white meat or whatever of the chicken. I take all that and whatever's left, and I make like a casserole with it. So that we're not eating the same thing over and over again. The other thing I do too, Amberly, is that like I pick one day a week to really cook. Like one day, all day. And I prepare everything, like whatever it is. Like I buy, and I try to buy, if I'm going to go buy, I try to buy organic if I can find it. But if I can't find it, try to buy as locally grown organic as I can. And if you go directly to the people that live around you that grow their own food, many times, many of them have a surplus of it. Like in my yard, my 100 pounds of bananas, I happily give away to whoever would like, because there's no way I can eat 100 pounds of bananas in the time that they go bad. Do I pre-boil my water? That's the question. You are hilarious, Brenda. Yeah, I pre-boil it and I put it in. The other thing is many of you don't think about, and I make my own bread. Do you guys make your own bread? It actually is cheaper to make your own bread. Okay? Right now, with all those yard sales going on, and so say you're not a really fancy bread maker. I mean, I can make it from scratch, and and I freeze it. All right. I buy like big huge bag of flour from Costco, and it's cheap. I want to say it's like, I don't know, $15 for, I think it's 50 pounds. It's a huge amount of flour. 25 pounds. It's an enormous amount. So I make bread all the time. Like, so maybe one day I'll make a whole bunch of bread. Now, if you don't want to make it from scratch like that, where you knead it and you do all that, look at your yard sales. You can get a bread machine. I can guarantee you there's somebody around your neighborhood, maybe even right next door to you, that has a bread machine that never uses their bread machine. You can make bread for, and I know you guys can get it cheaper than I get it here. The most expensive thing is yeast. So if you don't want to make your own yeast starter, buy the bottle of yeast. You can make a loaf of bread for about 12 cents. So what I do all the time, your kids could eat all those bananas. They don't get all ripe at the same time, or they do, and then all of a sudden, trust me, it's like 100 pounds of bananas in a week. You can't eat it. I freeze a lot of them, but I give them away too. What are you saying, Lynn? You get a crazy wildlife get the owl out of his trees because it kept him up at night. Oh my God, please. I agree, Lynn. We are trespassing on the wildlife. We are totally trespassing on the wildlife. So make your bread from something else, Lisa. You don't have to make it from wheat. You can make your bread. You can make it from potato flour. You can make it from rice flour. You can make it from any type of. But I'm just saying to you. So I usually make my bread from scratch. And so one day, Heidi came home with a bread maker, and I was like, "Really? Seriously? I make bread from scratch?" And he's like, "The guy down the street had 4 bread makers, and he sold it to me for $5. Do you guys know I use that bread maker 3? I probably use it 3 times a week, maybe 5 times sometimes. Now that school's starting again, I will. And what I do is I cut the ends off of it so that I don't have the ends, and I cut it in slices, and I stick it in the fridge, and I toast it. It makes amazing toast, and I use the ends of it to make stuffing, and I make, stuffing with it. So use rice flour or corn flour. You don't have to use wheat. The chat, I agree with you. Your iPad has no memory. You know what? The one good thing about Ustream is that, it saves your chat. YouTube doesn't save your chat. Imagine if somebody went back and read that chat from Friday night. It doesn't seem like a lot, but if you can make loaves of bread for 15 cents a loaf, as opposed to, I don't know what it costs where you are, but where I am, it's really expensive. At least good bread is. Yes, you can make cornbread stuffing, but I don't always make cornbread stuffing. And I use that bread to make a stuffing mix do you guys make, like fish patties, salmon patties, or tuna patties, or whatever, you fry them like a burger? Then you use that bread. You don't eat bread, Lisa? If you made your own bread, you'd eat it. Bridgeline, I was a raw vegan for years. It's just a little difficult when you're with your kids. It's like, it's a little hard. They don't want to be raw vegan. Lisa, you have to learn how to cook your taste of food. Because once you cook your taste of food, you can, well, it's still summer where we are. And so, but we have, everything fruits here almost all year round. So, but even when I lived on the mainland, I made my own food all the time. I would make big things. Especially when I had all my kids home, because I think the key is finding things that you enjoy eating, that you can make yourself, that you can make and feel good about, right? It doesn't matter what it is. I'm the queen of making beans. I can make any kind of beans you want. Red beans and rice, black beans, lentils, you name it. I can make it. And I make it all the time. And I freeze it. And I make it. I can make potato bread. That's not a difficult thing to make. Rice your potatoes and make potato bread, like, the kind they have in Ireland. The potato, like a potato pancake, but Irish style. Like a crock pot can be your best friend too. If you're not a really good cook, you can make a lot of really good one pot meals in a crock pot. Does anybody else use a crock pot? I'm the queen of making beans. I'm telling you, I can make you beans. I can give you Amberly. I can give you every bean recipe possible to make them from scratch, and they always come out amazing. Always, always, always. That's the problem, is my kids are so spoiled because they had food allergies, and you couldn't find, like, anytime you'd read the ingredients of something, it always had something in that they couldn't eat. So, needless to say, I cooked all the time, and you have to be inventive when your kids have food allergies. You can't just, so you get inventive. You totally get inventive, right? You get inventive, and then you just go for it. You get inventive, and then you start cooking with what you have, I buy beans in bulk. I buy rice. I don't buy rice, like, I used to buy rice in huge vats. The problem with rice here is you get bugs in it. So you have to, you have to be a little bit more mindful with rice. Yeah, please put a recipe on the Facebook page. I would love that. You can share your recipes. I have 2 crock pots too. When you read the ingredients of what? Hi, Trish. When you read the ingredients of what? I missed what you were talking about with the ingredient thing. I'm a frugal cook. You guys, the cost of living here is so high that you have to be, okay? I mean, seriously. The cost of living here is so expensive, and if you want to live a healthy lifestyle, you have to be able to cook. Yeah, so I totally, I cook as often as I can. And also I shop seasonally, like when things are on sale, like, pretty soon they're going to have, like, maybe not yet, but in the not too distant future, they're going to have we'll have a lot of things on sale, like a lot of, you guys, I love using Q-tips, and I reuse them for my, obviously not only with paint, not personal use of Q-tips. I want to be specific there, so nobody thinks that I'm no, whatever. Anyway, I like when turkeys are on sale, I buy a couple of turkeys, freeze one, keep one. I shop like that. If I could tell you, it's crazy expensive. So, how much is a bag of beans where you are, Amberly? Like, I'm just trying to think of, a bag of beans is not even cheap here compared to, like, the mainland. So, like, here I think a bag of beans is like, I don't know, I think a bag of beans here is like, $2. So I know you can get a bag of beans on the mainland for less. So, soak your beans overnight. I usually put mine in the refrigerator while they're soaking. Sometimes they sprout. If you're into eating living food, it's kind of cool when they sprout. And then, you can cook a really huge pot of beans for, like, hardly nothing. I always add potatoes and carrots in my beans, but you don't have to, because potatoes always make it thicken your sauce. Yeah. I love cilantro, but if you don't like cilantro, don't add it to yours. What is really that bad, Lisa? I missed it. $1.50 for a 1 pound bag of beans. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's more here. I don't even know. Like, so start with your beans. I mean, beans in my world are always good. And if your kids will eat beans, then you're rocking. You know, if your kids will eat beans, then you're good to go. Okay, I'm gonna need a new Q-tip. This one's like dried out. I put celery. You can put. I put celery and mushrooms in mine sometimes. Make them all different ways. If I'm just gonna make plain black beans, I saute onions. Do any of you cook in a pressure cooker? Can I tell you, they save you so much time, and you can cook a pot of beans from dried to cooked in less than a half an hour. A bag of dried beans to fully cooked. I think they taste better the second day, but that's just me. But yeah, I love a pressure cooker. Does anybody else like a pressure cooker? I love a pressure cooker. Because it's so hot here. You know, my mom used to cook with one when I was growing up, but that was just because I think to save time, but hey, spinach is awesome. Do you guys garden? Do you have a space to garden? I mean, next year maybe you should garden. You can container garden. It's not that difficult. Diana's like the queen of growing food, though. She like has these outstanding gardens. So I can make an amazing pot of beans in no time. Like I had this one child who would always inevitably invite people over at the last minute and tell me, here I was like thinking I could get away with just making like something really little, and she was like, "Oh, 10 people are coming for dinner," and they were all like kids that are like sports people, so they ate a lot, were constantly eating. And so I used to make I can make a meal in no time. You aren't allowed to garden. Can you container garden? You can container garden. You're allowed a aren't you allowed a some pot you can have potted plants. You can container garden. That's like so fun. You can at least grow your herbs and stuff like that. Herbs are what's expensive here. Sometimes I have people bring me herbs from the mainland because I don't want to pay $10 a bottle for herbs. Is that terrible? I'm like, go to the dollar store and get me some herbs. I grow a lot of herbs, but not everything grows like without the bugs eating it. Lisa, where do you live? Oh, Ash, that's so generous. Okay, you have to get a pressure cooker. Ash, it saves you like a ton of time. You can cook anything in it. I make the most amazing spaghetti sauce in a pressure cooker, whereas it would normally take like really long time to cook. You can make it like super fast in a pressure cooker. And I like cooking it like that. I mean, it just makes it like it's so much faster. So if I haven't gone and gotten some fresh tomatoes, I try to get fresh ones, but can I tell you, tomatoes don't really grow great here. The bugs just love them. You can grow little tiny like cherry tomatoes, but you can't really grow like big beefsteak tomatoes. They just don't grow. Maybe they will on another part of the island, but not in my part. So what I do is they have like a really inexpensive, huge vat of tomatoes at Costco, but you have to get the one that has tomato puree with it. I think it's like $2 a can, and it's enormous. It's like a big, huge can. And I saute onions and a sprig of rosemary with it. And then if I'm going to put meat, I would put the meat in with it. If I was making, like, one of my kids really loves sausage, so sometimes I make it with sausage. But if I'm just making it vegetarian, I just do the onions and the rosemary together with some salt, a little salt. Then I add that. The jar of canned tomatoes is like huge for like $2. It's like a big, huge one. It's like a gallon of tomatoes, I think. So you can make it all at once, or it depends on how big your pot is, but I use my pressure cooker. And so if I make it all, I usually make all of it at once. So if I'm going to put the meat in, I make the meat, then I brown the meat with it. And then I just add the tomatoes. Then after that, not mince my garlic. What do you call it? Where you squeeze it through the garlic press. Pressure garlic. And I add a load of fresh parsley. And I add some thyme, a little bit of thyme, and I pressure cook it, and it takes about 10 minutes. So you can have sauce that tastes like you've cooked it all day long. I add some Italian spices too. I mean, I have a whole mixture of things. But you can cook a whole thing of pasta sauce in 10 minutes from... Obviously, you have to brown your meat first. The key to cooking in a pressure cooker is you have to brown your meat. You can't... The texture of your meat won't be the same if you don't brown it. No, so you have to, like, brown your meat. So, and that's like sauce, that will give you pasta sauce. That gives you like a lot of pasta sauce. It's probably pasta sauce for 3 meals or 4 meals for a big family. I mean, it's a lot of pasta sauce. But if your kids are growing, and maybe it's only pasta sauce for 2 meals if your kids are like eat a lot. And it costs about, I don't know, what did I figure? I figured it out one day. I was having a conversation with this lady, and we're talking about food and the cost of food and here, and it cost me about let's see, so it's $2 for that, and then I don't know how much the spices all add up to, but say another $1, so 3. And if I buy sausage, I buy it in a really big thing, and it's like $3 for a pound. So if I put 2 pounds in, that's 6. So that's 8. And that one onion, I don't know what one onion would cost. I think there's like, 6 in a bag, and the bag's like $2. Or maybe there's 8 in a bag. So I put 1.5 onions. So like, just say another 75 cents. So for $8.75 minus the cost of the pasta, I have four dinners. And that's dinners for like five of us, but we're not huge eaters. So I mean, we eat, I can't say we're not huge, but say, so that's 4 dinners. So maybe that would be 2 dinners. So I don't know, how many kids do you have? You're in New Zealand. Awesome. So I don't know. I mean, is that cheap or not cheap? Is that cheap to make? If it's like $8, it costs me about $8 to make it. And say pasta's expensive here. I don't make my own homemade pasta. So a box of pasta is probably like, say, $2 a box. So say it's like $4 for a dinner. $4 per dinner, because if that gives me 8 dinners, so $2 for the sauce, and that's with meat. Without meat, it's only like $2. Maybe it's $2.50 without meat. Pressure cooker cooks it in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I mean, if you're willing to put the effort in, you can find a way to live more simply and be more fulfilled in your living. You have 4 aged 7 and under, so that might be like even more meals for you, because they probably don't eat nearly what we eat. You know what I mean? What grown kids eat. I'm just saying, I know how to cook cheap. I have to. It's just, I can't, you know what? Even if I didn't know how to cook cheap, I mean, even if it wasn't expensive to live here, I still wouldn't spend that kind of ridiculous money. I wouldn't. If I can make it and make it better for less money, I'm gonna do it. Does that make sense? That's just how I roll, though. I'm not telling any of you guys to do anything. I'm not making the suggestion. I'm just telling you what I do. Just telling you what works for me. They eat more than you, Amberly. You know, kids eat a lot when they're going through growing spurts. They do. No lie there. They definitely eat a lot when they're going through growing spurts. But if you message me on Facebook, I'll certainly send you some recipes and stuff that or maybe we can even just put it in our Facebook group. I mean, everybody has some sort of money-saving technique when it comes to, like, cooking and that sort of thing. I'm a firm believer that, we all have, like, stuff that we know that maybe somebody else just doesn't know just because of where they live or who they are or what. Think about it when it was wartime. Think about all the women that cooked with, like, no eggs and different things that you couldn't get, right? Butter and eggs. That's where all those dairyless recipes came from, and thank goodness for those, because my kids are, like, allergic to milk and stuff like that. So great. Amberly, we do not eat out either. It's just ridiculous, just for the cost. I mean, occasionally we go out, but not anymore. I mean, when I worked a big job, when I was working and had a big, more money earning job, we ate out probably more, but the food quality is not any better. It's not good, so for us, I think it just became, like, more of a choice of what would make you feel better. Do you know what I mean? Bye, Phaedra. I mean, that's a good tip, Susan, but that's, like, hard for kids. Kids can drink water, but it doesn't fill their stomachs. They'll be hungrier later. Oh, you guys, I'm telling you. This is kind of zen. If you guys haven't made done these circles before, they're kind of very zen. They're a very zen thing to paint, if you feel like it, if you're into it. You didn't miss anything, Jennifer. Are you leaving, Amberly, or are you saying bye to Phaedra? I have this killer recipe for a dairyless chocolate cake that I think came from the 40s. I mean, I didn't create the recipe. Somebody shared it with me a number of years ago. This friend of mine, she had a daughter who was, like, allergic to everything, and I mean everything. You're asking me, do you add anything when painting paper? No, I'm just painting on paper. I mean, this is newsprint, so this is thin paper, but no, I just use cheap acrylic paint. That's all I use. I mean, I don't have any, like, I don't add anything to it. Is that what you're asking? You're asking if I add an additive to it? No, I don't. I don't add anything. It's just cheap acrylic paint. Like the cheapest acrylic paint. I don't add. So I had this friend whose daughter was allergic to everything, and so we kind of bonded over that because, you know, one of my kids was very allergic to everything, so it made it really difficult to like. Anyway, hers was a little bit more extreme than mine, so she shared with me all these recipes because of the how allergic her kids were to things, and some of them are like cooking with no dairy because her kids couldn't have any dairy. They couldn't have any. One of them couldn't have any dairy, wheat, or corn, and then the other one couldn't have carrots, potatoes, like all these things that you don't even think about. And you don't think about it when you look in food ingredients and they say natural ingredients, that most of the things that they're referring to as natural ingredients are milk derivatives. And so if you have a child that's anaphylactic allergic, you're really cautious. So anybody can make this. This is simple and easy. You can paint with your fingers. I painted with a Q-tip because I don't want to get my fingers all messy. So these are just, I think these are going to look cool on my playing cards or as a background for something. And this is just newsprint. The first layer was cheap acrylic paint. Okay? So, you guys, there's no rules. Make it your own. You know, do your own painted papers. Enjoy doing it. Make it fun and have fun doing it. Anyway, back to my crazy story. So she was like constantly always looking for things because, you know, when your kids are growing up, you want them to be able to, especially if they have food allergies, you want them to be able to eat what everybody else eats at a party, you know, or whatever. Bring them food to school so that they can participate in the things that they do, right? So she gave me a load of, or taught me, or discovered, and we sort of did it together. And this is years ago because her daughter is 25, is the same age as my daughter that's 25, right? So this is when their kids were little. And so we did it together, and it was actually fun. And both of us learned a lot about cooking and about, just about preparing foods that your kids could actually enjoy and eat that were also, societally acceptable in a way that, like, if you were going to cook them and invite a bunch of kids over to your house, that it was like, do you know what I mean? It was a fun, she was a great friend to have. She was a great friend to have. So, my chat's okay. Is everybody there? Hey, Susan, are you still here? Are you here, Bet, or did you run away? Did you run away, Bet and Susan? You ran away? Oh, good. So I want to know how many of you are going to paint with me tomorrow, and how many of you are thinking that you would like to... She's feeding the grandbaby. Oh. What's he eating? I hope it's something good. You're hypnotized by my circles. Make your own circles. Come on. You're zoning and petting your cat and your hair cat. Oh, awesome. And Lynn's here. And Ash is here. And awesome. You're hypnotized by my circles. I'm not hypnotized by my circles. I'm just like in the zen and I'm feeling better. I'm not a mombi anymore. I was totally a mombi earlier. I'm so sorry, you guys. I was really a mombi. I was like, what in the world's going on with me? I was just making egg sandwich. Well, this morning I did not make egg sandwiches. This morning we were so grumpy this morning. We had cereal and bananas. Okay, that's all. Like, I couldn't get out of her like what she wanted. I was like, I'll make you whatever. I don't want anything. She's also not an eater first thing in the morning. Do any of you guys have kids like that in your life? They're not eaters first thing in the morning, and then they have to go to school, and and she's more interested in socializing at lunch, so I'm not quite sure how much she actually consumes. But So today's also the full moon. So, and also some other astrological things. I'm not an astrologer, you guys, so I'm not up on all of it, but you know, I have friends that are, and then they send me, oh, it's the XYZ, and I'm like, oh, cool, thanks for telling me. Oh, honestly, guys, I'm not that, it's not that I'm not that interested, I just don't know what to do with that information. You know, like if you read your astrological chart and it says don't go out on a Thursday, and you have to go out on a Thursday, you know what I mean? Oh. Hi, Fee. It's a lunar eclipse. Well, that's also probably why the energies are a little bit more high today. I mean, definitely I can feel it. Can you guys feel it? Can you guys feel the crazy energies? So if you haven't joined our Facebook group, for those that are new, come on over and join our Facebook group. It's called Crafting Mamas. Everyone's very nice. There's not very many rules to the group, except, you know, one of them is you can't, no selling. And the other one is you have to be nice to each other. Okay? That's the basic rules of it all. You have to be nice and no selling. So if you can abide by that, you're welcome to join. It's not a swapping group, so it's really just about, you know, it's about promoting each other, you know, being like kind with each other. And yeah, a lunar eclipse. Anna, I'm good, Fiona. Today I was a mommy earlier. I come on to do that drawing that I didn't get to do yesterday because my poor little one just had a meltdown yesterday. She was just overwhelmed. I understand. No, she was just like, yeah. The other thing is that she couldn't sleep last night. Okay, that on top of all of it, she didn't sleep last night. So when she woke up this morning, she was like cranked too. It was like I was a mommy because I don't get up at 6 in the morning, but I guess I am now because school started. Oh yes, Fiona Jane, you're right. It says do not post your, yes, that is another rule in our Facebook group. Do not post your jean pockets. How did I forget that one? Oh my lord, you guys. Do not post your jean pockets. Do you think the guys even noticed that he was booted out? Do you think he went to post something else in our group and realized that he was banned from our Facebook group? Do you think he got it? Do you think he realizes he was banned? It's like, what happened to my forum? What happened to my attention? I need my attention. Right? That's what he's thinking. You live in the zone, Linda? You think he would have known, Fee? Okay. You think he's lurking here? Oh no. Bye, Frida. Join us on our Facebook group if you haven't already. We're happy you're here with us. We'll be live tomorrow later on. Like it's at 9 tomorrow night. 9 Eastern Daylight Time. Guess I'm zoning out making my circles. Waistband. Oh my god. You're funny, Amberly. We were all being nice, okay? And we tried to like his work. You're right, Liz. We did. I did start it. Oh my god. I did not start him, you guys. I didn't invite him. I did kind of wonder, though, when he put his name on the thing to want to join. I was like, why would a guy want to join a crafting group? Like, but I was trying to be open because I know there are other crafting groups that have men. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to be like so judgmental. He just wants to be part of the peeps, you know? Yeah, he wanted to be part of the peeps, but not in the way I wanted to be. Yeah. You guys, so bad. So bad. We are terrible. You know, are you guys guys in any Facebook groups where people get ugly with each other? I try to, as soon as somebody does something like really not nice, I like drop out. Because I'm like, and especially if no one like catches it or says anything about it, I just try. I can't do, you guys, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I can't do anything mean. Like, I can't have any mean anything right now. No? What did you write? Oh my God. Susan tattled, she did, but I love that. Good night, Linda. He wanted us to take a peek. He wanted something, Brenda. He wanted to, like, I don't know what he wanted. He was a little bit crazy, okay? He was crazy. He was, like, really crazy. It was, like, so stupid how crazy he was. It was so ridiculous. You've had some, but they're nice by comparison. Ours is nicer by comparison, yeah. Amberly, you know what? That's why we just decided no more guys. I mean, I know that there's a couple of journaling groups that have guys in it, you know, and that's all great and everything. But in all honesty, they can join that group. You know, I can just say, okay, well, there's another group out there for you. You don't have to be part of ours, you know, because I don't want to tolerate that weirdness. I just can't. It's like not necessary, right? It's like so stupid. It's like really stupid. It's like, I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know. He obviously put some thought into it because those pictures were horrible. They were like really not good, and he was whatever. Well, we're glad he gone, but he gave us a great laugh, and I'm appreciative for that because I so needed that laugh. I have been compartmentalizing my stress, and I needed that release, and I'm happy. You know what somebody said to me today, and I thought this was kind of a poignant thing. Okay, it was really early this morning because, of course, it's the first day of school, and, you know, my family's big on, like, oh, we want to tell you have a great day, you know, that sort of thing. Is anybody else's family like that? You know? So, because I was talking to my sister. She called really early this morning to say to my little one, have a great day at school, and we were talking about things that things that you're not tolerant of anymore, like things that you might have been tolerant of before in your life, but that suddenly you get to a point where you're not tolerant anymore. See, I saw that one about people who sent back their ugly swaps. That made me sad, I have to tell you. I'm not a drama mama either. I'm glad that you guys are not, you know, either. What did you say? So Ash is saying some admin came and glued on her last week. And had it been just a member, that would have been fine, but an admin. So I'm finishing my swaps and I'm out of there. I'm sorry, Ash. You know what? I was really fond. There was a Facebook group, and I'm not going to say the name of it, but I was really fond of participating in it, and I had an admin just be ugly to me for no reason. There wasn't like nothing came. You know what I mean? She was probably having a bad day, but after that, it sort of tainted my view of like even wanting to be part of it, you know? So I'm still a member of the group, but I don't really participate much anymore. You know, I don't participate. And I called her out on it. I mean, I called her out on it in a private message. I didn't do it in a public forum, but she got nasty with me in a public forum. So I was like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. So I don't really participate too much anymore. But what I was going to say is, so we were talking about, good night, Sarita, big hugs. Oh no. Oh, everybody, let's stop for a second and send Sarita some good thoughts so she can just let go of her pain. We love you, Sarita. So, my sister and I were talking about how things drastically change in your life. Okay, like how like you had tolerance for some things that you no longer have tolerance for, or that just kind of disappear in your life. And you know, the thing that occurred to me in this conversation was, as you change and you raise your vibration, like, you know, like when you're in a really good state and you're super happy and you're feeling good about yourself and that sort of thing, the ugly stuff doesn't stick around. Friends, spouses, other things either. So I hope you feel better, Sarita. I'm sending you healing energy and lots of good thoughts. And so sometimes what appears to be like a real hardship is actually a door opening for you to step in to take a chance and move a different direction. And I started thinking about like how I spend my time and who I spend my time with. And you know, I think for me, the important thing is that I feel uplifted. I mean, and not everything can make you feel uplifted. I mean, I know we all have bad days. But my point is that I don't think that you should have to go to a Facebook group to be treated poorly. So I'm not doing anything. So I've gone through my groups and I've deleted a bunch of them. Like, especially if they curse a lot and do, not that I'm against, you can have it, I swear like a sailor in my own home. But it's just that if you're reading it and people cursing at each other and that energy is just so volatile, you know, it's like, I don't need to be spending my free time, optimal word, time, and you know, and spend my energy. You need to feel uplifted and encouraged, okay? And you need to find things that make you feel better. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. It can be just listening. Like, one of the members of our group posted a song on her Facebook page, and she and I must have done a swap in the past, and it came up, and so I posted it online. If my friend, go and look at it. It's this guy named T-Pain, and he's like a big, you know, auto tone person, you know, that electronic tone thing. My kids have listened to him. But he's singing, he's not singing a cappella, but he's singing his own voice without like all this extra stuff. And it's just so beautiful. And listening to the song, even though the lyrics are not perfect or something that I would prefer, but his voice is so beautiful. A branch just fell on your roof. Oh, I'm sorry, Amberly. Oh no. Liz, that's a great way to be. But if you listen to this guy's voice, and not necessarily the words to his song, but his voice has such a purity to it, and it's beautiful. And he's singing, I think he's hid behind this, you know, glitz, glamour, auto tone, whatever, forever. And now people are becoming more real. So, can you hear me, Trish, now? I'm talking loud, I think, but maybe I'm not. So, I mean, he's becoming authentically himself, you know, and I thought, wow, you know, that's what this whole energy and time and life is making us all do, including stuff going on in our world around us. It's making you let go of what's not working for you and heading toward a new reality for yourself. So I know, Amberly, even though you're going through this, try and see the good in it. Try and see the good in it. Try and see like what that next step for you is going to be, and go with the flow of it. So I'll tell you guys this story, and I don't know why this comes to my mind except for what Amberly brought up. So when I lived in upstate New York, I lived in New York City, and I had a house in Woodstock. And then at one point, we moved to Woodstock full time. Okay? And my daughter went to the public school there. My older daughter was away at boarding school. So she had come home, must have been around a holiday. I don't know if it was Christmas or if it was Thanksgiving. But it was a big food shopping holiday, right? And I had just been having this conversation with my daughter, who's 19, who was then like 7 or 8. She had all this math homework, and I was doing homework with her the night before and whatever, and I said to her, please put your book in your backpack. You know, I said, please put your book in your backpack, and we had this whole conversation about putting your book in your backpack. I said, because I'm not driving up to school to bring it to you, right? And I, trying to be a firm parent, trying to create some sort of like, be responsible for yourself energy with my daughter. So fast forward to the next day, my older daughter was home from school. She was home from boarding school, so it had to be near a holiday. And so she fast forward to the morning, and of course, what did she do? She left her backpack. She left her math book. So she calls me from school. I get this phone call, and she's like, I left my math book, and she's crying on the phone, and I'm like pissed, I'm like, seriously, like I just had this conversation, and I even asked her in the morning, I'm like, do you have your math book? Oh yeah, of course. So I am, of course, let it go, right? So I am, of course, like dressed, like it's winter there, and I'm not dressed like in any sort of like, and I'm thinking I'm like in sweatpants or something, like sweatpants and a sweatshirt and, snow boots. And it was, it gets cold and it snows there. So I tell my older daughter, I said, I'll be back. And I just jump in the car to go to take her book. And the whole time I'm pissed, right? I'm like, grumbling inside. And I walk in the school and I see the school nurse, and she has this big table out, and it's got all these canned goods on it. And I hear, walk by, do not stop, walk by, do not stop, walk by, do not stop, right? But me, I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Or I don't know what I said. How are you? Whatever. And she said, I'm collecting food for a few of our families because, we're going to be closed for the holidays, and two of our, and this is a public school. She said two of our families, they're two of our current families at school have been laid off from work, and the holidays the kids won't have any food. And so I hear, don't offer out of my mouth. Is there anything you need? And she says, actually there is. She goes, toilet paper, and she said toilet paper and eggs and maybe milk. She said people don't realize, they give all this stuff, but there's some basic things that you really need that you don't think about, like toilet paper, eggs, and milk. I'm like, okay, cool, because somebody had donated a bunch of, or maybe she didn't say milk, she just said toilet paper and eggs. She said toilet paper and eggs. So I don't even have time. I'm having all these people over to my hands. Oh, that's awesome, Trish. I'm having all these people over to my house for something. So, like, later on that day, like, it was some holiday, so I don't even remember what, but anyway, I said, well, what time are you leaving? And she says, like, whatever, like 2 o'clock or something. I'm going to drive all this food over to their house. Maybe there were 3 families. There were several, more than one family. So the town that we lived in, there was like no grocery store close by. There was like a local grocery store, but it's quite much more pricey than, like, say if you drove to a big box store a town 20, 30 minutes away, right? I didn't have time to drive to the big box store town. So I go home, and I had just gone to, like, Costco or whatever. I think up there it wasn't Costco, it was Sam's Club or whatever. The big box store was there. I had just gone the day before, and inside I had bought, my kids were all home for the holidays, so I had bought, like, I don't know, stuff I don't normally buy, like lots of stuff, like cereals, and my older daughter at the time liked to bake, and so I bought her all these cake mixes and just all kinds of stuff I'd bought. And so I started packing these bags. My daughter's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like going through, I'm like, okay, keep one for me, give one to them. Like, I'm cleaning out my pantry in that sort of vein of, like, keep one, give one, keep one, give one. And I tell my daughter, and she's like, I said, I need your help. So she, like, goes to the garage and gets bags or whatever. And, like, so we're looking at it. And finally something comes over me, and it just says, give it all. Because you have more than enough to share. So I was like, like, all right. So I started, like, packing, like, I did keep some stuff for us, but not much, I started packing it all up. And then my daughter points out, she's like, Mom, you can't give people cereal if they don't have any milk. I'm like, okay. So, and then, whatever. I start putting up whatever I have. Now, backtrack for a second. I had really wanted to go on a trip, okay? I'd wanted to go on this trip to, I think it was Egypt. I wanted to go on this trip to Egypt with some friends. And I had just recently closed my business. My business had failed. I had a failed business. And my business had failed. And I was sort of, like, floundering. Like, I didn't know what I was going to do, or where I was going to go next, or, like, what was coming for me. So, I just was sort of in that out there space, like, sort of like, I don't want to say waiting, but I kind of was like limbo. I didn't really know, like, nothing had come to me that I thought nothing had come to me. So I had wanted to go with these friends, but I honestly didn't have the money to go, because the trip to Egypt was, like, I don't know, $8,000 or something. And so I just didn't have that extra money to want to go to spend on something, like, that wasn't a real necessity. I didn't have $8,000 to go on a trip. So back to the food giving. So I gave almost everything I had in my pantry. Obviously, I kept enough for a couple of days, because I figured I could go to the store, whatever, later on. But I didn't have time, so I had my daughter, like, boxing up everything. You guys, like, all kinds of canned goods and stuff, and just ridiculousness. And I started thinking, like, what would it feel like if this was me? Like, how would I want somebody to give if it was me, First of all, I don't ever think I'd be brave enough to even tell anybody I was going through a hard time. Second of all, I was just trying to put myself in their place. So I get all the stuff in the car, and then my daughter's like, and I needed toilet paper, because that's the one thing that the school nurse asked for, was toilet paper. And then my daughter pointed out that how could I give cereal if they didn't have any milk, and so I was like, okay, so eggs. Oh, and I had given cake mixes, and then that's when she brought up, Mom, they need eggs and they need butter if you're going to do cakes, and you know how it snowballs, right? So, and we were by no means, like, wealthy by anyone's standards, you know what I mean? Just working class. So I get to the store, and I'm still dressed, you guys, in the horrible sweatsuit. It wasn't even a sweatsuit. It was, like, probably what I'd slept in, because my then 8-year-old, now almost 20-year-old, had forgotten her math book. All over forgetting her math book, right? So I get to the store, and I grab, like, whatever, 4 dozen eggs, whatever, like excessive stuff, like There were 3 or 4 families. I can't remember the exact number. So whatever the number of families it was, I got like 2 dozen eggs for each family. I got a gallon of milk for each family. I got toilet paper for each family, butter, all the stuff that, for the cake mix and, you know, anyway. And I get in line. And I get in line and I see this woman that I know. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. I'm like, please don't turn around. Please don't turn around. Please don't turn around. So I used to own a gallery. I used to own a jewelry and an art gallery. I used to sell high-end art jewelry because I was an art jeweler. And I used to sell paintings and whatever, like all kinds of stuff, right? And I had just closed it, maybe the month before. And I'm like, oh, and she was one of my clients. I was like, please don't turn around. I mean, I looked like hell. Hi, Jamie. I mean, I looked like hell, okay? And I'm like, please don't turn around, please turn around. Of course, what does she say? Hi! I'm like, oh my God. Like, oh, hello, how are you? And then, she's like, oh, it looks like you're going to be doing a lot of baking because I have like all these dozens of eggs and butter and all this stuff. And you know what? Normally I wouldn't say anything. Normally I don't tell people my stuff like this. But I turned to her and I said, no, actually. I said, and I just blurted it out. I said, there's a family in need at our school. Multiple families. They've just lost their job. And I said, all of this is going to them. I said, so, because school's closing for whatever it was, 2 weeks or whatever, and I said, their kids won't eat. To which case she turned, and I'm telling her, like, whatever. Normally I would make, like, nicey nice, but I was kind of, like, irritated that she even noticed me because, like, I'm dressed like hell, I look terrible. And not that you go to the store to be seen, but you don't want somebody to see you when you look terrible, You don't want to be, like, somebody to point out how horrible, when you're not your best. And suddenly she turns to the cashier and she said, can I have whatever the number of people were, like families, whatever. I told her 4 families. She goes, can I have 4 $50 gift cards? The lady's like, yeah, hang on, that takes a little while. Meanwhile, the manager has to come over to process it, and he's standing there, and you have to realize I have like 4 enormous things of toilet paper and, like a lot, whatever it was. And so he comes over and he's standing there, he's like doing the things, and everybody knows everybody in this tiny town. And he says, oh, and the woman's still standing there, the really wealthy woman still standing in front of me. And I tell him, I said, I'm buying all this toilet paper for a family. And he's like, oh, the store will meet that donation or whatever, right? And I said, well, take it over to the school. He's like, oh no, hang on, and I'll go get it. So next thing you know, I have extra toilet paper, extra whatever, and this lady turns around and she hands me these 4 $50 gift cards, and she says, here, give this to the school nurse for me. And have a happy holiday. And I said, oh, you too. And then she walks about maybe 2 or 3 feet, and she turns around me and she goes, do you still have that necklace? And I'm like, what necklace? And I had made this necklace, you guys, just one, and it was like, really, it was like some South Sea pearls and some, it was expensive. It was a pricey necklace, right? And, and I was like, what necklace? She goes, I've been thinking about it and kind of kicking myself that I didn't buy it. And I was like, what necklace? So she tells me, it was an expensive necklace. And she says, I said, yeah, I think I still have it, because it was a piece I'd made, right? I said, I still have it. And she says, well, if you can come around this afternoon around 4 o'clock and bring the necklace, I'll write you a check. You guys, and she walked out. It was the exact amount of money that I needed to go on that trip. So all I can say to you is, although like I had to close my store down and I really didn't have the means to help somebody else out to the extent in which I decided to, and even though like I ranted at my daughter not to leave her book, she did anyway. And all the culmination of all of it ended up being that the divine's always looking for a way to give you the things you need if you're willing to be open enough to receive it. So, although we don't always understand like why and how, and I know like a trip to some exotic place doesn't seem like a very needy thing, but for me, it was something I really wanted to do. Yes, I went on the trip, Lisa. I went to Egypt. It was amazing. I'm just saying to you that there's always a way when you're open. There's always a way. But sometimes you have to overcome whatever it is. Like, obviously, I needed to be seen in less than perfect light by this woman to put myself in such an uncomfortable position to even complain about what I was doing, to put myself in alignment to get what I wanted for my own self. Does that make sense? So I'm only sharing it with you because I realize you're having a hard time, Amberly, but there will be a something better for you. And maybe it is just reaching out and asking for help in a way that you haven't ever done it before, or in a way that would put you in alignment more with yourself, right? And having the needs and things that you wanted fulfilled. So, and it's not just for me, okay? It works that way for all of you, okay? It's not exclusive to me. I don't own any of it. You know, the divine is here for us all the time. You can call it by anything. Universal energy, light, source, God, angels, whatever comes for you, whatever works for you is perfect. But I'm letting you know that, there is something better and bigger out there for all of us. Not exclusive or exclusionary to anyone. You don't have to be religious. You don't have to be... The divine doesn't discriminate. So maybe it's some rock you haven't unturned yet, Amberly. Maybe it's like calling somebody. Maybe it's swallowing your pride and calling a food bank. Maybe it is telling your neighbors, hey, this month we're a little low. If you could, if you had any extra to spare, because I'm going to tell you, everybody has a little bit of extra to give. A little bit. So if you went to your neighbor and one of them gave you, 2 cups of flour, and another one gave you 3 eggs, and somebody else gave you a stick of butter, and you can make a cake. Do you see what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is that we're each here for a reason, and we're here to lift each other up. We're here to be each other's biggest supporters. We're here, and I know it seems like it's trite because we're like painting circles on junk mail, but it took real bravery for you to say that you're in crisis, and it also took real bravery for you to say what you needed. And maybe no one here on this chat or can do anything to help you this moment, but we're here for you energetically to make the next step for yourself, whatever that is. And I'm here holding a space that you get what you need. But I really believe that the energies that are coming in right now are for each and every one of us to live more simply. And I'm not saying that means to go hungry. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, like, maybe we don't all need everything we have. So maybe instead of like loading your cart with a bunch of stuff that you don't need, you load your cart with a few things that you want and help somebody else out with the other. Whatever that means for you. Whatever that means for you. I also had an elderly neighbor that lived across the street from me, and he had lost his wife. And I'm liking these circles. Are you guys liking them? Or are they just too hippy dippy? I'm liking them. I'm liking them on my paper. Jamie says she doesn't know if the Next Door Neighbor app is available in all areas, but she recently helped a family that posted they were in need of some necessities, and I know it's a great place to share needs. Oh, that's great. I didn't even know about the Neighbor app. The Next Door, it's called Next Door app. Jamie, can you post that in our Facebook group? Trish, I agree. I don't think everything happens for a reason, but I do think that everything happens to put you into alignment with your higher self. I know that it puts you back into alignment with you. Bridgeline says she has a tattoo on her arm and it says, "This is it. Right here, right now, is a special sacred moment that we are all sharing." Oh, that's so beautiful. Janina's asking me how to let go of Danina, he passed away? Or is he going through something? He passed away? Your 20-year-old son passed away? Is that what you're saying? I'm missing it. I didn't know that's what happened to you. Jamie, will you post that in our Facebook group? Just make a post for it and tag me in it so I can find it afterwards. Oh, he moved out and he's followed a girl. Okay. You guys really want to get to the woo-woo? Are we really going for the woo-woo today? Are we going for the woo-woo? I guess we can go for the woo-woo because we went for the laughs last week, right? So, yes, it's painful. I know, because I have to tell you, when my oldest daughter went away to boarding school, I have to tell you the ache in my heart was tremendous. And it was all I could do to muster up and it was her choice. Bye, Jamie. Big hugs. Thank you for posting it. So, yes, the woo-woo, Ash. Okay. Yes, Kat says the woo-woo. Okay. All right. So just be open, okay? I understand, Danina. Let me just share this with you, and then, I'm working on all of you guys. I always work on you guys anyway, for you guys to be happy, be in the highest good for yourself, for all of us to be in alignment with our higher selves, and all that. So, Amberly, we love you. It is really deep. I'm sorry. And so, okay, here we go. You guys are ridiculous. You guys get me in the most ridiculousness, and I'm thinking I'm going to be a momby, and I'm going to have my, painting papers and give away my journaling kit, and that was really none of it was about. Okay, so, you're not going to want to hear this, but I'm just going to lay it out there to all of you, and then I want you to think about it. It's actually disrespectful for us as parents to interfere with our kids once they've reached the age of 18 or over. Okay? The reason why is they're on their own life journey and their own path. And it's hard and it's painful. But the more we meddle, the more we keep them attached to us, and they can't reach their full potential. They do come back. They do come back. They always come back. So we all come with life lessons to learn. Okay? All of them. All of us. Me included, and trust me, some of them hit me right in the head. I have the kind of karma that if I do something, I never have hit my children, but once my older daughter ran off a public bus when she was about 5 years old into the streets in New York City, and ahead of me through some people, and the moment I could get off and get her, I swatted her on the ass. I was so nervous and thinking somebody was going to take her, and then I turned around not even 3 feet later and ran right into a pole. I'm going to give myself 2 black eyes. So my karma comes back and hits me in the ass every time. Amberly, I love your bravery too. It took a lot of courage to say what you said, and I really appreciate it. So, we come here with these life lessons. And maybe, Danina, one of yours is to learn to let go. And it doesn't mean let go forever, just in this moment. Okay? We only have this moment. And maybe yours is also to learn how to love really deeply, because you are very deep and very concerned and love so many people, and you have such a big heart. You give I can see how much you give. I can see how giving and loving and caring you really are. But it's like trying to ride someone else's bicycle. it's like it's never going to happen for us as long as we try to ride somebody else's bicycle. Do you know what I mean? So the pain you feel is the pain of the unknown. It's also the pain of loss, which is very real and very true. And it's also the pain of being left to ourselves. Because we as mothers, and I find this with my own kids, we as mothers, we want to make sure the whole world's safe. We want to make sure our kids are safe. We want to make sure they're doing what they need to do. We want to make sure, whatever it is, we want to make sure they're okay, and that's normal. But we also do it at the detriment of taking care of ourselves. Almost every caregiver does. So the pain you're feeling is so natural and so real and so normal. And, Lisa, I'm sorry. So I'll do this with you guys. So who has stuff they want to let go of? Just let me know. So I have stuff I need to let go of. Who besides Danina and me? I have stuff to let go of. Who else does? Tell me, chat me, tell me you have it. Say, you have to willingly say, I want to participate. Say, I have things I want to let go of. Or just say, I do. Just say, me. Okay, perfect. Kat does. Who else? Chat it up. Put it out there. Okay, Danina, Amberly. Who else? Put it out there. Put it out there. Okay. Okay, let's let it go. Okay, all right, we'll work on it. Amberly, okay, yes. Lisa Ann does. Okay, Ash does. Have to say I do, or me, or something, because I'm not going to work on you if you don't. Okay, because it's conscious consent. I always make the intention that anybody comes here is somebody that wants to be here. Oh, Lisa, I'm so sorry. You wanna let go too? Okay. Speak up. Come on, lurkers. You have to make conscious consent. You have to say I do if you want it. Okay? And for those of you that listen to this recording in the future, you do have to say at this given point, even to yourself, that you wish to let it go. Okay? Okay. So for all of you that want to participate, say I do, me, and oh good, awesome. You don't have to say it in all caps. Bet says she does too. Okay, good. Anybody else that wants to let go of something that's just really, it can be anything. It can be something as silly as your neighbor who calls you to tell you their birds have pooped in their yard. Or it can be something really serious, like financial burden, a loss of a loved one, a heartache, a serious illness, anything. You make your choice of what you're letting go of. Okay, so I want all of you guys to close your eyes, and then we focus on your heart, okay? And in your heart, I want you to image a window. You can make it any kind of window, but it has to open, okay? I want you to inhale in, and on the exhale, I want you to open the window. And I want you to see all this burden leaving you. I like to envision mine like smoke. And it can be any color, it doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong, okay? And I want you to let it go. And I want you to bring to mind any and everything you want to let go as you're in it. Don't even monitor it, whatever comes. See it leaving. No judgment. Breathe in, and as you exhale, let it go. Breathe in the new and let go of the old. Okay, tell me what you feel. Tell me what you girls are feeling. It can be anything. There's no right or wrong. Tell me what's going on. What are you feeling? You can let it go anywhere. The universe knows what to do with it. You don't even have to think that you have to do anything with it. You're not in charge of it anyway. We're in charge of holding it on, but... Very nice, Kat. Very nice, Lynn. Anybody else want to give any input of what they're feeling? Anybody else want to give their input of what they're feeling right now? Just do a little bit of energy work, Diana. Talk about letting go. Very nice, Anne. Anybody else want to put their input in? Who would like a second round of letting go? Who would like a second round of letting go? Just say, I do. Me. Who else would like a second round of letting go? Very nice, Kat. There's no right or wrong, you guys. There's no right or wrong. So I don't know if you made it to one of our calls, or I don't know which one. Originally, my life has been going so crazy lately, I can't even tell you, but... So what do I do for a living? I mean, I don't sit here and paint papers for a living. Your heart still hurts, Janina? Okay, well, we can let go again. Okay, Lisa, awesome. Put it out there. You just realize that nobody can see the chat after this is up. Okay, so you can write down anything you want. Okay, you can write down anything you want. You can write it down and let it go. You don't even have to write it down to what you're going to let go, but if you want to write it down, do it. Sometimes writing it down or saying it out loud right where you are just makes it more real for you. Okay? And anything that's going to make it more real for you to realize you're letting it go is the whole point. Okay? So, Bridgeline, I don't know if you were there when I was telling everybody, but what I do for a living is I'm an intuitive. I'm an energy healer and an intuitive. And what I do is I help people put themselves back into alignment. Did you hear me clearly say I help you put yourself back in alignment? And I personally don't do any of the work. It's just the divine in whatever form that suits you. You can call it the light. You can call it infinite spirit. You can call it God. You can call it divinity. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I mean, all answers. It all answers. And so that's what I do for a living. And I'm an intuitive, right? I'm an empath, I'm an intuitive, every kind of form of intuitive. And that's what I do for a living. And so I was guided to I don't even know how this whole YouTube live stream thing happened. At the time I remember thinking it was ridiculous, but I would say most of the time, not all of the time, follow my guidance. Danina, sometimes, okay, have you ever gone away? And please write what you'd like to write. And if those that would like a second round, just say, I want one, I want one, I want one. Just write it on the chat and I'll include you and we'll do another round of energy. So have you ever gone away and had your cat, this is going to sound terrible, had your cat poop or pee on stuff when you've left? and had, or your dog do something bad, you know, it's because sometimes people don't know how to let go without breaking up or making it ugly. Like, there's ways that you can let go, and it comes with time that you can do it without having all the ugly. But it also takes maturity, and he's not mature. Okay, as much as he'd like to think, and you know, at 20 years, and trust me, I'm experiencing it with my own kids. They're all assholes, honestly, truthfully. At 20 years old, they are. They are. So, unfortunately, sometimes, like, they don't get that you don't need to be ugly in order to let go. Like, he didn't need to be ugly in order to move out. But that's what he made the choice of that. It has no reflection on you. There's nothing you could have done differently. But you can let go of this pain because that's not serving you. Okay? So, everybody wants another round of letting go. Okay, give me a second because Body's going to walk in, and I just want to tell him that I'm doing live stream so he doesn't talk to me and that sort of thing. Okay? Alright, and the dog's barking only because he just came home. So you guys just give me a second. Write down anybody that wants to participate, and you can let go of anything. Hey, I just want you to know I'm live streaming. So anybody that wants to participate, all you need to do is write I do, or you can write what you're going on and whatever you want to let go of. Okay? This is completely a safe zone, okay? It's completely and absolutely safe zone. No one's here to judge you. No one is here to do anything. We're only here to honor each other. And for those of you that have hung in, I can't believe I'm still live streaming. I was only going to do 15 minutes, 3 hours later. Okay, all you need to do is write I do. And for those that are listening in the future, just make a verbal consent to yourself that you're really willing to let go of something. You know? And we're letting go of something in our lives that we don't want, Fiona. That's what we're doing right now. All of this, like, and we can thank Amberly for this. And Amberly, you were so very brave for bringing your energy forth and speaking what you needed to speak for all of us to hear, for this to be happening. Okay? So I want you guys, so all you have to do is just say, I want to let go, or include me. And guess what, girls? Mark that thing. It's like in 3 hours and something. If you go to the end of this recording and you listen to it again and again and again, the energy work keeps working. Energy has an intelligence of its own. You know, divinity doesn't need our help. It needs us to become in alignment with our own selves and to get ourselves into being in the best place possible for ourselves. You know? So, alright, Brenda, we'll see you at your show in a little bit, okay? So I want you guys to breathe in. Thanks for hanging out, Brenda. Love you. Letting go of anything you want to let go. All you have to do is just write, I do. I want to let go of something. It doesn't even, you don't have to tell me what. You can write what you want. You can write it if you feel like. Sometimes it helps if you just say it out loud. Sometimes it helps if you write it. It just makes it more real for you that you're letting it go, right? All right, are we ready? Did everybody write I do that wants to participate? Did everybody write me, or I do, or write whatever you're going to write? Okay. Whoever wants to let go of something else, it can be anything. It can be, I'd like to let go of the extra weight I'm carrying. I'd like to let go of my financial burden. I would like to let go of this pain in my heart. I'd like to let go of the feeling of loss. I'd like to let go of my physical ailments. I'd like to let go of my critical thinking. My stinking thinking is what I call it. I'd like to let go of whatever. So just say, I want to let go of something, and then I'll do some energy work on you and with you to let go of whatever it is. Okay, you ready? Okay, close your eyes. Go to your heart and see that window. And open that window and see it going, and just want you to breathe in. All you need to do is inhale in the new stuff and exhale out the old. Ready? Breathe in the new and exhale out the old. Breathe in the new and let it go. Keep your window open and keep releasing. Let it go. Let it go, whatever it is. Just let it go. Breathe yourself back into you, all the good stuff, the new. And let go of anything else that's not working for you. Okay. So tell me what you girls are thinking, feeling, seeing, knowing now. It's good that we're doing this on a full moon. A full moon is a good time to let go of stuff. And she's right here with you. She's not gone anywhere. You can talk to her at any time and just ask for a sign so that you know that she's heard you and that you hear her. My mom's been gone for almost 10 years and I talk to her every day. Oh, good cat, I'm glad. Tanina, how are you? You guys get me in the most woo-woo-y space. Here I think I'm just doing like a little silly giveaway. Whoever watches this is going to think that I'm an absolute nut job, right? They're going to be like watching this and they're going to have watched Hot Pockets last week. I love you, Amberly. They're going to have watched Hot Pockets last week, and then this week they've watched the Woo Woo. So oh good, Ash, I'm really glad. Very nice. Girls, if you need to cry, you gotta let it out. Just let it go. Don't even, no judgment, okay? There is no judgment, none from me, and you should not be any from you. You know, you have to be where you are, and you can only be where you are. It's like trying to start a race at the finish line. I love you, Danina. No, I'm just saying, like, you know, people are, like, watching, like, for a crafting video, you know, they're, like, expecting, like, ooh, some recycled envelopes and some, like, whatever, and, you know, we're all, like, going through our own trip, and, like, they're gonna be like, this lady, she'd be gray. She'd be gray. Amberly, you were so brave. See, and it's because of you, see, that we were even doing this. You're a brave woman, Amberly. And we all appreciate and love you very much, and we're happy that you were so brave to even make the. Now it's time for all of us to get real with each other and be kind and nice and loving and caring. Thank you, Bridgeline. Oh, Mary Kay, thank you. Thank you, Amberly. We love you, and we really appreciate you being so selfless and brave in whatever you're going through. It's not easy. Certainly not easy asking for help with a bunch of people that you just know from virtual crazy Facebook, right? Or YouTube. You guys, there's enough for all of us. You know, there is enough for all of us. We don't have to live in the excess we've lived before, but we do have to be kind, because we are all connected. You saw how we all felt, how you guys feel my energy. We're all connected. So when we're doing well, when I'm doing well, we're all doing well. Oh, Amberly, I'm so happy. We love you too. You guys can all thank Hottie, because I'm going to tell you, he's been singing, you know, he's as woo-woo as I am. He couldn't live with me otherwise, right? Because I'm really woo-woo. You guys have only gotten a mild case of my woo-woo. And I've been this way my whole life, you guys. It's not like it's something new, and it's not something I can do any, you know, it's just who I am. I accept myself as I am. So he made a prayer, because we were talking about, I told you guys what we were talking about, like he and I were talking about, like, if we could improve anything in our lives, what would it be? And I said friendship. I said, I feel like, I mean, I live on an island, and I don't have a lot in common with everyone. I mean, let's face it, I'm a little out there and woo-woo, and I'm out there and woo-woo for myself. Imagine, like, people that don't even know me, right? And so he does his own version of what I do, and he put in his intention that he wanted us to have friendship, fun, can't remember, something, community, something else, I don't know. And see, I have all of you guys. See, the divine will provide for you, but first of all, you have to ask. You know, you do have to ask for help, because you do have conscious free will. You do have to have conscious free will. I feel like I know all of you in my heart too, Danina. Oh, thanks, Anne. I love you girls, and I mean it. When I tell you that I mean it, I mean it. You know, it's not fake. Lisa, you know what? I work from home. I work via Skype. I have lots of clients that call me via Skype. I do have a monthly, I do have a monthly meditation that I do with a group of people. And then I do something weekly. I'll post it. You know, I'm not all about selling anything in our Facebook group, but I do have something really inexpensive that I do for like a large group of people, and I do it once a week. and it costs $25 a month. And I do what we're doing, but I do it in a real, much more intense way. And I do it once a week. It's $25 a month, and it's like a conference call. And people call in, and you don't really, like, there's an email address, and you send your questions or stuff ahead of time, and maybe they'll be addressed, but maybe they won't, but the energy knows what to do. And then I hold this space for like an hour, and I talk to you like I'm talking now, but it's over a conference call, and I do it once a week. And I do this energy work on everyone, and people have seen amazing things happen in their lives. So yeah, and I mean, I don't have to see people in person. When I lived on the mainland, I used to see people in person. I mean, of course, if people come here, I can see them in person, but it's really not necessary. Like yesterday, I talked to a lady, and I had a client call me from Perth, Australia. So I talked to her over Skype and did a private session with her. And, you know, I don't even know why I started sharing this stuff with you, because this was not like my intention. Like, my intention was to craft. So I have clients from all over the world. Oh, that's sweet, Ash. At least the DNA makes us all 57 cousins. Hey, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. We are all connected. We are all connected. So when I do my next meditation thing, I'll let you guys know. I mean, that was not my intention in bringing anybody in. I wasn't, that wasn't my thought, you know. You know, at least for a long time, I used to just try to dumb down and fit in. And finally I had to realize that we all come here for a reason and a purpose, and mine's just a little bit more out there than maybe everybody else's. Maybe other people's are more out there than mine. I mean, I don't know. Kind of live in my own world a little bit. But it's really about us coming together as a human body, as a humanity. You know, we're all part of like one larger humanity thing. If you need to make noise, you can. We're done with our meditation. You can make any noise if you were making food for yourself. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It does have some gold in it. I don't think you see it? You see the gold? Maybe I need to find a different shade of gold. So now you guys got my woo-woo. Danina, how are you feeling, honey? I feel the same way, Fiona. I feel like you are all my blessing, and I feel like I sort of feel like I'll tell you guys more as I allow myself to unwind. I'll tell you more about my journey, because I'm sure we all have a lot in common that we don't even know. And you feel like you need a shower, well, then take a shower. You know, like, you know, you need to let it go. You're out there, Mary Kay? I'm so out there. You guys have no idea. I'm kind of... So I will explain something to you, because I realized this the other day when I was talking to Susan. So when I forget things, you guys, so I'm an automatic channel, you know, and I know that I'm here to do more than just art with you guys, and I just try to be open to it. So sometimes the energy that's coming through, it makes me completely thoughtless. Meaning I can't recall the name of something. Like the other day I was trying to tell you guys I was painting chalkboard paint on terracotta pots, and I couldn't remember the name of a terracotta pot. It's not because I'm stupid. I mean, maybe I am in some ways, but it's because the energy affects me the same way. It makes me completely mindless. So there are times and points in our conversations or whatever, I can't, it's like drawing on a database of something that you know is in there, but you've just got to find it. So I'm really not dumb, I promise. I can't, it doesn't always, it works different, and it depends upon whatever level of energy. Today was a good day to let go, though. Today's a full moon. Not that I'm all into the astrological thing, but it's a good day on a full moon to let go. It's a really good day on a full moon to let go. So we all let go of a bunch of stuff. Thank you, Amberly. We love you. You made it happen for us. So I'm not as out there. I mean, I'm not as dumb as I seem sometimes. I often like think, oh my gosh, I couldn't. Or if I hear it back, or you know, or talk to somebody. No, but I'm just telling you when the energy comes in for me because it flows through me. I'm just a conduit for it. It's not my energy, okay? It's the divine's energy, or it's my connection to being open enough to allow myself to be that conduit or that channel, right? I become completely like it takes away every like sort of conscious thought. So probably anyone else that does this kind of work would probably say, and you go on a live stream and you chat and you make art and you try to carry on a conversation. I mean, you know, I worked on that lady yesterday and then she told me she couldn't speak for like 3 hours and I was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Like she emailed me later, she said, I'm sorry, I couldn't really talk for like 3 hours. I was like, okay. You know? So I'm just letting you know, it's not because I'm like, oh, Amberly, we're not taking you being as a negative Nancy. We're taking you as a blessing for each and every one of us to look inside of us and figure out what we can do to do more in our lives and live more in a simply way. Danina, I understand. The other thing you have to know is that it's like an onion. Okay, you didn't build your life. You know, it's like, have you ever seen the pictures of a house of a hoarder, right? And you go in there and you're like, I just want to throw it all away. And you know how hard it is for a hoarder because emotionally they're attached to everything for who knows why, and we don't even need to get into analyzing that. So we hoard our emotions and we hoard and we stuff down and we push down, especially as mothers, especially as caregivers, and we put ourselves last many times. So it's like an onion and it's going to come up in layers. So as you let go, more stuff will be allowed to come to surface for you to let go. And I can tell you all, you can do it. You can do it. Open the window, see it going out. You know, just, you can do that whether you're with me or not. If you want the extra energy boost, come back and listen to this video toward the end of it because you'll be able, the energy stays there. Energy has its own intelligence. You know? Danina, I'm telling you, I've been there. I can't even tell you how heart-wrenching it is. And when your kids do stuff that's not nice to you, it really brings back painful stuff. Like, it makes you, I mean, if I told you some of the stuff my kids have done, you'd be like, what? And I do this work, and they're conscious, and they know better. You know, and they still do it anyway. You know? Danina, the sooner you let it go, and you can, and it's a process. It may not happen this one day. You may have to go back and do it again and again and again and again and again until you feel at peace. You know? Until you feel at peace. Okay, I'm into these circles, you guys. I think I've drawn like 6 pages in these circles. It's like, oh my God, you guys, what is wrong with me? I get into like a zone. I'm like, okay, circle lady. Damn circle lady. Last week I was something else. It was like so crazy. Just, Danina, just allow the emotions to come up and just release them. Allow that window to stay open and you just sit within yourself and let it go. I know how painful it is. Hi, Scotty. I know how painful it is, but allow whatever comes up and just let it go. Just let it go. And mark this video. I'll change the name of it to something, I don't know. I'll do painty paper. I'll call it painty circle papers. Okay? Painty circle papers. And then that way you guys go and you can look at painty circle papers and you'll know this, and you know it's like toward the end of like 2 hours that I start doing the energy work, I think. And then you guys can go back and listen to it. Yeah, we're still going, Frida. We did a little energy work and we're all still going. So do you guys want any more rounds of letting go, or are we good to go for today? Now, you guys drink a lot of water and eat some protein. Even if you're vegetarian, eat tofu or nuts, because the energy that's been present for you is pretty powerful, and it needs a place to go. So when you eat protein, it grounds it into your body. Okay. So does anybody want to do one more round, or are we good to go for the day? If you want to do one more round of letting go, you just have to type I do, and if enough of you want to do it, I'll do one more round. Painting around the world. Painting around. I can write painting around. Yeah, painting around. Okay. That's right, Amberly. It's exactly like that. I hope you read that, didn't you? She's saying it's like the prodigal son. They leave an experience, but they come home, and it's great when they can come home in open arms. Okay. Amberly wants one more round. Is she the only one? Okay, so one more. All right, if you want to be included in the energy work, all you have to do is write me or I do, or you can write what you'd like to let go of. Okay, we're gonna let go of whatever it is that you need. You made circle paper too, Lisa? I'm kind of addicted to this circle paper. I think all my whoever one more. Okay, just you girls write I do. And for those of you that are gonna listen to the recording, all you need to do is give yourself some conscious consent that you want to let go. This is only to let go of stuff that doesn't serve you. The energy will only help you release that. Okay. And you can let go anything you want. It can be physical ailments, physical pain, heart pain, financial burden, nosy neighbors, anything that's affecting your life in a negative way. You can let it go. Okay. It's only going to allow you to release what doesn't serve you. Okay. That's the only thing it's going to do. Thanks, Mary Kay. So we're just all letting go of something that doesn't serve us. Hi, Kiki. Awesome. Okay, all you need to do to participate is to bring to mind what you want to let go of, and then just let it go. Hi, Sarita. Awesome. All right. Okay, you can let it go. Yeah, let it go. Let that go. Let go of losing your vision, Patricia. Let go of... Okay, everybody. Close your eyes. Focus on your heart. And open a window. I want you to inhale in all of the good stuff, and I want you to let go of anything that doesn't serve you and see it leaving like smoke. Ready? Let it go. Whatever it is. Breathe yourself back into you and let go of anything that you don't want, that you no longer want in your life. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Just let it go. Just let it all go. Breathe yourself back in and let go of anything else. Open the window a little wider and let it go. Noni, we're doing some healing work, and this would be good to direct toward your grandma. It's just letting go of anything that's not working for you, whatever it is. Tell your grandma we love her, and we're so happy she's here with us. So we're just letting go. Open your chest, open the window in your heart, and let go. Let go of anything that you'd like that's not working. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let go of anything that's not working. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Okay, tell me how you girls feel now. How's your grandma, Noni? I bet does she get a lot of cards? I think there's probably a little bit more than 50 coming her way. And you tell her that we love her and that we're sending her some really amazing love and feeling her energy and sending her love. Oh, love you, Bridgeline. She has a basket full of cards. Oh my gosh, that's awesome, Noni. Is she overwhelmed? Did she like them all? Does she say, Noni, who are all these crazy people? Love you, Scotty. Love you, Fee. Love you, Lisa. Love you, Lisa. Love you, Noni. Noni's grandma. Bet. Oh, very good, Amberly. You really let go of some stuff. Good for you. Love you, Kat. Love you, Amberly. Okay, girls, drink a lot of water. Love you, Patricia. Drink a lot of water. Eat some protein today. Go post some money-saving recipes on our Facebook group so that we can all learn how to eat healthier and eat less expensively. That will be really helpful too. You can also post pictures of your pets in our Facebook group or your kids or anything like that you want. I love you too, Kat. Awesome, Kiki. Love. Love you, Renee. You guys got me on a crazy woo thing. Here I was thinking I was just going to be a mombi. Aww. Noni, that's going to make me cry. Noni says, all the cards are beautiful, and her grandma says, love and kisses from your great-grandma. Oh, Noni, tell her I love her. Tell her thank you for giving us the opportunity to honor her. Make sure you guys eat and drink some water, drink a lot of fluids today, eat some protein, even if it's nuts, if you're vegetarian or vegan, nuts. If you're not, go for it and eat some other stuff. Eat whatever you can that works for you. Ladies, I think I've sent you a lot of aloha today. What do you girls think? Did you get enough aloha for one day? Did you get enough of my craziness? Did you get enough of my bananas that fell over in your backyard and cracked your bumper? Your bumper that's laying in the grass? Did you get enough of that? I love you, Danina. No, I love you. Thank you for bringing it up. Thank you for mentioning it. And thank you, Amberly, for like being who you are and brave. I love you, Lynn. I love you, Kiki. Okay, my girls, I'm gonna let you girls go. I'll see you tomorrow for our ATC extravaganza. Head on over to Facebook and love you, Lynn. Head on over to Facebook and post your pictures of your pets. Post pictures of things you're grateful for. Post projects you're doing. Post some recipes, because we should definitely have a file of really good recipes that everybody knows that they love. And don't forget to head on over to Brenda. Everybody's got to be like Brenda and head on over to her channel. Oh, love you, Sarita. I hope that made you feel a little better. You guys can always message me in the group or message me on Facebook and let me know how you're doing. You put together 2 journals. Awesome. All right, ladies. Close your eyes one more time. I'm just going to send you some aloha. Close your eyes and breathe in. And exhale. And as always, from my heart to your heart, I'm sending you so much aloha. So much aloha and so much love. Go be like Brenda and go say hey and hang out with her. Give her love. I may have to go pick up my girl from school, so if you guys are still on by the time I go pick her up, I'll come back. Bye, Trish. Love you. Bye, Lisa. Bye, Bet. Bye, Susan. I love you, girls. I love you so much. Thank you for making me dig in deep and be myself and be who I am and not hide. I appreciate it. I love you, love you, love you. You have no idea how much. And I'm liking these circles. So what are we calling this stream? So I call it that. Are we calling it the circle painting? What are we calling it? You can call it the circle of love, I guess. Painty paper circle of love. Bye, Ash. Love you. Somebody post Brenda's link. Okay? And if you haven't joined our Facebook group, go over and join it. Crafting Mamas on Facebook. You're all welcome. Okay? Aloha circles. I can write that. Okay. I can write cosmic circles and aloha circles. Okay, I can write that. Circle of love. Okay, the circle of love then. I love you girls so much. You have no idea. Crazy woo-woo circles. You're right, Kat. I am a little woo-woo. Thanks for getting me. Thanks for getting me. I love you girls. Go over and be like Brenda and go over and see her and chat with Brenda, okay? Okay, so Ash says she's going to post Brenda's link to the Facebook group. Okay, I love you girls. Aloha.